G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by Algared and I'm tired of shit. No, how are you?
I'm back from the dead. That's what I felt last week. So
yes. So we skipped last week because Algared was feeling unwell. He had a night out with blackjack and hookers, and it made him really tired. No. What really happened? You thought you had COVID, didn't you, at one point? So
I was concerned I had COVID. Yeah. Did the RAP tests and they were coming negative, but all the symptoms were there. Went to the doc. He gave me the PCR test and said, no, you're not going to work for the next few days.
And you complained about that apparently. No.
I did because that meant I'm behind on work. So,
so good.
But it was nice to know that it was only the flu. But everyone says COVID is worse than the flu, and after my experience with the flu, I don't want to get COVID.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So you come back to a lot of stuff. Hey, Wendell. So we had speculation during the week on the Legionnaire because it was kind of leaked, and then obviously
good morning, Sandgroper as well.
Yeah, obviously we've got the actual page to look at today. I managed to snag a Mule for rent on the PTU, so if you've got if we can get into that, we'll have a look at that as well. And there was one other thing I can't remember. I'm sure it'll come back around. It's something Invictus related, I have no doubt. I was planning to work on some videos this week. None of that happened. I got sucked into some games with some friends, and I got back into Valheim and the new one, V Rising, and just
I saw the other day you were on Valheim, so
all that planning went by the wayside. So yeah, but that's fine.
And hi Sean, how you going? Good to have you join us this morning, or this afternoon, or evening, whatever it is for you.
Yeah.
For us, it's bright and early. We're having our morning coffees, and Execute's freezing his proverbial beep off.
Yeah.
Of course, he's in Tasmania, and it's freezing down there. It's quite cool in Sydney as well.
It's not that cold, to be honest. I'm kind of more used to the acclimated to the cold a lot more than I am to like I don't even have a heater on. Put it that way. Like I don't have a heater on. So
must have been Amiga who was saying he was complaining about the cold earlier then.
Yeah, so Amiga was in chat with us, and yeah, he's up on the border between Victoria and New South Wales, and he was saying that it must be cold down here. But again, where you live, you tend to acclimatise to, and winter hasn't even started, so not far away though. So yeah.
No, it is getting colder though, isn't it?
Well, I was talking to
those evenings are getting a bit brisk.
I was talking to Space the other day, and he's sweating his balls off. So he's just, I always find the juxtaposition really weird, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, we do have a few things to go over. We'll wait till a few people are here. I think we actually will kick it off with ISC Algared, because that'll kind of show us what they're feeling about the ship. Then I think you and I can go through the sales page, which we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So you're going to see
I think
you're going to see our reactions live, essentially.
Yeah. And I think when going through ISC, it's also going, because we haven't watched it yet. So, but we do have questions about the ship, and so hopefully that's going to help hone in our questions or thoughts about the ship as well.
About 5 hours ago, I almost recorded like a speculation episode on this, but it kind of fell apart because I got too tired. And so yeah, I can tell you what we were thinking about it and see if they kind of match up. Maybe we could do that before, but yeah, I talked with Badgers and SA, two of the military guys. They do think that they had little suggestions like possibly the ship locks onto the ship with either magnetization or it actually rams, because there's lots of pressure dampeners at the front, and it's very armor heavy. Yeah. I did think there was something weird at the back, but we couldn't see any guns on it, and now it turns out that that's a little turret, I've been told by someone. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. We'll wait for a few more people, and then we'll kick off IFC, because I don't like to start.
And hey, IFC. Hidden Citizen, Fraggers, Ted, Dark Grave, Fraser, and Stubbers. Lovely to see you guys. It's always lovely to see you guys. And when I've got actually got the YouTube chat up, I can actually see you guys are in. Usually I've just got the questions up, so I don't actually get to see you guys. But
speaking of
I finally started to use that super wide screen, and Execute's always bagging me about properly. So I've got.
I didn't start the bot either because we haven't streamed in a week because you were unwell. I'm not on my A game. There we go. Question bot is on. All right.
See that nice side reminder to Execute to put that question bot on. Totally fortuitous. Wasn't deliberate. Because I wasn't actually doing it. But yeah.
All right. We were trying to work out when Invictus starts for us. Turned out to be 3 a.m. Joy.
Yeah.
So we've got the Anvil page. We'll look at that in a minute. Just the regular. Yep. And into the breach. All right. So I normally wait a little longer than this, but this is going to be a big show as it is anyway compared to normal because we've got the Drake Mule to go through and all of the Legionnaires. So we'll kick it off early. Well, that started playing straight away. I've got to change things around so Algared can hear.
Otherwise, I have got a 10-second lag and an Execute stops it, talk about something that I haven't seen yet, which is always great for the show. Yeah, Fraser, the time works out at about 2 a.m, but we know that the first episode is usually an hour late, so we're expecting it like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, so it's going to be a shock and horrible time.
Really simply, if you just take what it says here, 18 hours and 15 minutes, that's right on 3 a.m. for us. So we're just going by what it says here. So yeah, but traditionally, every time it's come out, it's always an hour later because it takes them that long to get things working. So yeah. All right, here we go, Algared.
Yep.
Going to do something that we've not done in Star Citizen before. You're going to be forcibly boarding another ship.
You know, with the ships, it's always an advancement, right? So the Anvil Legionnaire is our new ship. It's a boarding ship. It's for a 2-man crew and then 8 people in the back. And basically, it's essentially for a hostile takeover. I think this is a very sort of iconic-looking ship. We did some really cool...
I just want to point out real quick, the military guys told me you wouldn't be able to take over shit with 8 people, but it's a video game. We'll see.
Cool stuff in like the experimental phase. We had like sort of crazy arms and things that could basically sort of latch onto ships. But I mean, ultimately, because you've got to take into account all the other ships that are in the universe that can be boarded, you kind of have to come up with a really sort of simple universal system, which is kind of why on this Legionnaire it is such a simple mechanic, essentially.
The Legionnaire fills a gap in our lineup for both more lawful and less lawful careers where...
Did you hear the editing of the music there, Algared? Just dead.
You need to take charge of...
Sorry?
The thing that John Crew was just saying there, that they wanted a ship that fills that gap. For the boarding for lawful and unlawful. They've actually got that with the Hammerhead already. It's exactly the same style of boarding.
Just
the difference is
way bigger, and it's only got a capital dock.
It's way bigger, and it doesn't, and it's got the big dock, and but it doesn't have space for boarding crew. So it's got the same. Yeah, I can see what he's saying, but it's not the only one that does that.
What you're saying there, actually, the military guy said too. They wouldn't be surprised if the front of the Hammerhead there gets some kind of area where there are seats, just because it would change. It would fix that whole problem.
And it's got the space for that, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
The person's ship. Traditional flow for ship-to-ship docking is the person who wants to dock to the other ship requests it from the parent ship, and it's on the parent ship's pilot to accept or deny that, whereas the Legionnaire has onboard hacking abilities using the hacking minigame to perhaps forcibly override that acceptance and allowing it to happen instead. For players that are on the lawful side, its prime use is bounty hunting. For those perhaps with more...
I just noticed something interesting here. It's actually landed with a third leg and the front too, but it still retains these kind of landing gears on the back. That's weird. Like you can even see you can even still see the height. That's so weird. What the hell's going on there? Anyway,
more military focus. It is like Anvil's dedicated military boarding ship. And for those on the other side of the spectrum, piracy is its main role. So you are there able to attach and board other ships and take.
Yep.
I was going to say one thing. If it's a pirate ship, you'd expect it to have some form of hold for cargo, and yet it doesn't look like it does.
Well, it basically means this ship would never operate alone.
No,
never.
So it's a ship that can't operate alone.
Yeah.
Even if it's got a jump drive and everything else, it's a ship that really needs a mothership to be launched from. Javelin,
their crew, goods, or
carrier.
Ship itself. That's the Anvil Legionnaire. Looking forward to this one because it's a ship that appeals to both sides of the law. It brings with it a new...
Do you reckon it'll be out by the end of the year, Algared? If you had to guess, I'm kind of thinking it's not that big. What do you think? Maybe?
Well, Anvil is fairly well designed in terms of the aesthetic. The nose, buffer zones, and boarding connection and docking collar is in game and working already on the Hammerhead and other ships and stations.
Hacking gameplay is the only thing holding
the hacking gameplay is the only new thing, and that's just circumnavigating something that's already in. The seats are in for jump seats. Turrets are the same as what's on a Quani, basically. So yeah, I could see it being fairly quick.
Sides to an existing gameplay loop or existing gameplay loops, it expands upon them, and it's something that I know a lot of players have been waiting for a long time, is that the ability to board other ships forcibly, because it takes away that safety a lot of players have at the moment, where I'm safe on my ship, no one's coming on here without destroying me. So people are really going to have to start thinking twice when these things hit the persistent universe.
Invictus Launch Week is back, starting tomorrow as we welcome the UEE Naval Fleet to the Planet Crusader for this year's event. Now, throughout the festivities, you can test fly military vehicles for free, experience new releases like the Anvil Legionnaire, rediscover old favorites, and tour an
If I ever look like that, Algared, you've got my permission to shoot me.
in-service Javelin destroyer. But how did it come to be in the fiction of our persistent universe? Let's go now to members of the narrative team to learn more.
I think a lot of people still find Invictus inspiring, and I think people need to know that the Navy's there protecting them. And I think getting to go to these events, getting to tour these large ships, and seeing how strong the UEE is very reassuring to a lot of the citizens and civilians in the UEE.
When Invictus originated, it was way back in 2542, and this was about a year into the First Tavaran War.
Tavaran War was the first time that the humans actually needed to organize a straight-up military.
So you imagine then you have this war kicking off, they need to recruit a bunch of starmen, you have these, farmers, these people from the city who need to get to boot camp and had no way of getting there.
Because ships weren't as widespread or as common among the public at that time.
The ship named the Invictus was tasked with going around to all the systems and gathering up the recruits.
As a way to not only kind of like drum up some support for the war effort, but to also bring them into a basic training.
And that's kind of how this event started. It would be this kind of big week of all the families saying goodbye to the young recruits reporting to war. And it kind of evolved from there.
So over the years, under the Messer regime, some criticized their Invictus events as being a little too political, a little bit too focused on the propaganda. But once the Messer regime fell in 2792, the event returned back to its roots about focusing on the Navy and the support and the really cool ships and equipment that they use in the defense of the Empire.
Invictus in the toy era started to be reshaped into the Invictus we know today, where there was a push to remake the Navy, to make it a noble institution once again. And so I think this more kind of celebratory aspect of recruitment and showing people what the Navy was all about, putting these ships on display, showing that we are united in purpose, as my hat says. Now, there still are detractors to Invictus. There was a great showdown post that we had that showed like people think it's spending too much of the public's money, that it's really just free advertising for the ship manufacturers, putting forth kind of a false front rather than showing the Navy how it really...
Ironically, it's a false front from the ship manufacturers. That's exactly what it is, because they're trying to sell ships.
is.
Now.
The modern view of Invictus, I think, is still that sort of
At least they can make fun of himself there, Algared. That's good.
aspirational.
Yeah.
It's meant to be that sort of thing of, it's a celebration of duty in a way.
It has a lot of kind of really fun family-friendly elements to it, including very cool like stunt flying done by the 999 famous Reckless Squadron.
I mean, it's always cool to see gigantic, powerful military ships up close and in person.
I think the way that the UEE is approaching it, as this is, again, a way for people to come together to celebrate those who are putting something on the line.
So in general, it's kind of a staple event of the UEE every year, and something that a lot of people around the Empire look forward to.
So what did we learn about this week? Well, we learned that the Anvil Legionnaire is the first ship dedicated to breaching and boarding other ships, which isn't always the nice thing to do, but sometimes necessary. And that Invictus Launch Week has become a mainstay of the persistent universe over the years, as well as your chance to tour the interior of a Javelin destroyer, if you're into that sort of thing. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. That's the new Manchester office. Maybe we'll go inside next week. We will. See you then.
Apparently there's a little bit more.
There's a little bit more to come, so...
It's the Pickinator.
The Pickinator. Yeah.
See, and they said there was no AI. They lie. Oh.
Yes. Clearly we need a Luke scene where he comes in and saves Pico from the evil Empire who's trying to capture him.
You'll have to restart your screen, Algared. I clicked the wrong button, sorry.
Wow, you evil man.
All right. Well, I think we'll move on to... I'm actually surprised we didn't really get a lot of details from John Crew and Paul Jones there at all. So I think we'll kind of move on to the page itself and see what we can take out of it. SA is apparently swearing. I'll show what he's saying, though. But he's just saying kill them all. So what's your initial impressions now, Algared, of the Legionnaire?
I think John Crew, I think Disco kind of I think he was suggesting going on a tour of the Javelin. But I still think the
that Javelin tour is in game. I went on it yesterday. Yeah. So yeah, it's there for Invictus again. Yeah. But I'm talking about the Legionnaire.
Yeah. And I initially was thinking they'd mentioned something about the Legionnaire with the Javelin, but it was just them talking about the tour. But I got the impression when I was first looking at it this morning that it really is a replacement for the Hoplite as the boarding ship that goes with the Javelin.
Yep.
It's an eight man insertion crew. Hoplite was 6, but it's got the added advantage over the Hoplite that it's got that boarding mechanism like the Hammerhead has, and that makes the perfect pairing with a ship like the Javelin.
So the thing I took
Because of
away
the Javelin.
from what John Cruz said was the hacking nature, that they can brute force their way in. That was the real big takeaway for me for this ship above the other ships, and I took that from what John Cruz said. So
yeah, so you don't have to blow the hatch off, and yet I noticed it's got an armory of some form, so it's got breaching charges, and its weapons, on hand near the entrance. So that makes it a quite unique in that sense.
Yeah. The military guys I talked to said there was some kind of teeth locking on, and I would have kind of loved to see that, because that's the other thing. It basically looks like at the moment, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you basically have to kind of disable the other ship, because if they don't want to stay tethered to you, they can just fly off and it breaks off. So this ship kind of comes in after the combat's over.
Yeah. So you and that's where pairing it with, say, a javelin works, because the javelin, disables the ship. It's still locked. It's still got defenders. You want to capture the ship. You don't want to, you're not wanting to atomize it. So you send your Marines in, and if a ship's been disabled or they've powered down, and hold to so you can board the ship and investigate it.
Triple shields. And
they're only size ones though.
Yeah. Well, that also leads to my theory that it could land on a small landing pad. But it does have heavy armor like the Terrapin. Yeah. Well, as I was saying with the military guys, it looks like it's a cross between a Valkyrie and a Terrapin. It really is halfway between the two. If it does land on a small landing pad, it is the highest ship to do so. Currently, our highest ship is 9.5 meters. The original length of this that I saw was 31.5. If it can somehow shed from 32 or 31.5 to 28, which is the size of the Freelancer, it may just land on a small pad. And if it can pull that off, the benefits are huge, because it basically can land on Krakens, it can land on the Idris and stuff like that. And so basically, because of that, it's just going to have more access. And quite honestly, it almost looks like it needs to come out of something like an Idris after a big fight to then board the other one. Does it not, Well,
if it can land on a small landing pad, it only really makes it be able to fit on an Idris because of the height, and that'll be the issue there. Does the height still work for the Idris? Because that's often the case with Idris ships. But it would mean it could land on the Polaris and the Odyssey. But in terms of a Kraken, the Kraken's got medium landing pads, so it fits there. And the Javelin's landing pad is medium because it's currently the size of a hoplite.
Now you have to take. I believe this is still in Australian mode. So this, GST 10%. So that's 100, and that'll go down to whatever the hell that is. I think it's like 115 and whatever that is. So but the price really surprised me. The military guys were saying $300. I was like, nah, $250.
When you consider the Arrow was what, or the Gladius is $90.
Yep.
That's a really good price for that ship in terms of what it is. When you consider, look at the Valkyrie. What was the Valkyrie's cost, or the Prowler, or the Ghost?
I still don't think it's as good as a ship like a Cutlass that's $100, right, or 110, because again, it's more versatile. This is super niche, and boarding is not an everyday action. Again, for me, it's an earning game, right? Just don't get caught up in the now. Again, if you do get caught up in the now, just have an exit strategy to get off to something else.
But it is also for those people who do like those CCU chains. It is a good start point for going for those bigger ships.
We tend to get 2 or 3 CCUs around this price point. So again, knowing the Drake Mule's the thing, I'd be more inclined to go down.
And the Drake and the Drake Mule, if that can be CCU'd. Like some of the other vehicles, and
chances are it will be though. But I'd be leaning way more towards betting yes than no on that. They seem to have learned their lesson from that.
I do like the look. I do like the look of this ship though. I do think that the height, one of the things that does make me think it's ideal for the Javelin, is that the height doesn't matter for the javelin because its hangar is so deep.
I do want to like my question is what size ship pad does this land on? That would be in the Q&A part. But
that
I will point
really
out
is the key.
I would point out though it is in a small hangar. Like in the image here, it's in a small hangar. So that's a good positive in its favor. I do prefer the default skin to the purchased one though, which is usually very unusual for me. So yeah. Again, guys, if you have any questions or things that you want to say, just put question in what you want to say, and it'll come up in our bot area, and we'll be able to read it from there. Hey, Starjump.
When I first saw the images you posted of this, my initial thought was it looked like a terrapin that had its pants down.
Actually,
it had lost its pants. It had lost the back end of its armor, and so it just looked like a terrapin with the front end of its armor and nothing else.
Probably can pull that up. Hold on, here we go. So this is what I linked to Algared yesterday. So yeah, this is a 3D model that was leaked the day before. It is definitely a work in progress because you can, like, if you zoom in on certain parts of it, you can see through parts of the model. And there's no proper interior. As I said, it doesn't show the turret here, and it had some kind of weird thing here at the back. It's even got some weird things underneath it that they don't even talk about. But yeah, it looks like that's some kind of multiplied thing. And now there's a landing gear that comes out the bottom in the middle. So this is definitely an older model that they're using for the Holoviewer. But yeah, in the concept. So because I honestly, like, once we found, I think it was Mikhail that I was talking with at the time, it clearly landed on those. And when they had the same ones on the back, we're like, oh, I wonder if this just, because you can see here when you go in and look at this wing, it's got a gap in it. We're like, oh, maybe the wing folds down. So then when they're all at the same height. So we just thought it landed on 4 legs. Couldn't find any weapons on it. We had all these cool little theories about these shields here. Like, these look like they could go into the docking collar, and you got like so there's like a little gap here. So you could actually shoot through this hole and use this as a shield. There's all these little cool things the military guys are going over, and it's all for naught because it's different in the concept images and stuff like that. So yeah.
But when you consider the buffers on the hammerhead and the buffers on this, you can see the design language is very similar in both of those ships in terms of how they board. And I think the process of the boarding is for both of those ships as you're boarding. You're boarding a ship that's already been disabled or is powered down so you can board. But my question was always, why would you use your hammerhead for the boarding? You'd want a smaller ship to do that, and this kind of fits the bill. But as you said earlier, it's not a ship that you really want to operate alone. It doesn't have the cargo capacity. It doesn't have the longevity or the depth of length. You want it to be operating with a mothership like a Javelin or a Carrack or a Polaris
I'm just reading, Aguado in chat says they're just making ships for not much reason right now. I think this is very much a future ship. Like, it's a ship that they're planning for bigger ship combat and stuff like that. And as we've kind of said, having that small landing pad is going to be a massive advantage over some of the larger boarding ships that are all medium pads. So if this does turn out to be for a small pad, then it could be one of the, like, it really has a niche that makes it really strong because it can just take off from so many different places. Go ahead.
It adds to the value of the of that small.
Let me put it this way, Algared. Let me put it this way.
Jumped from my mind.
Let me just. Oh, you talking about the Liberator? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Really fits for the Liberator and adds to the value of that.
Let me just put this in your mind though. At $100, and then there's this retarded ship called the Drake's. What's it called? The Drake Steel.
The Steel.
Color Steel. Yeah.
Yep.
You can get two of these, and more money. What the hell were they thinking? What the hell?
The Drake Steel has more people, and it's silver, and it's got a lot more guns and missiles.
Who cares? Wow, that's crazy.
But Drake's Drake. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Note the sarcasm or disbelief in my voice for those watching.
Yeah, I will pick up the skin for this though and hold on to it. Yeah, me and Algared were thinking about buying one of these and giving it away tomorrow for Anvil Day. What do you guys think about that? Pick one up and give it away tomorrow. What do you reckon? It's not worth it. Let me know in chat. One for giveaway, 2 for no, it's not worth it.
Can we do it? Can we do a
Would you rather a better ship instead? We can do polls, but I'm
put a poll?
All right,
Put a poll up if we can.
Create a poll. Should we buy and give one of these away tomorrow at the start of Invictus? Yes, I'm a talker typer.
I will shame Drake owners all day long.
There we go. All right, there's a poll.
Poll is wrong.
I don't know. Did that work? I clicked. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yes, it did.
Cool. It just came up. Sweet. So let us know. We haven't done a lot of polls. We should do more polls.
We should do more polls. I saw the advantage of having polls the other day, and I thought, ooh, I'll suggest that. Gets a bit more interaction with our community.
We got to, yeah. Also, I think we're going to do one for charity where you're going to wear funny clothes. We'll have to do that sometime too.
It'll have to be a big charity, and it'll have to be, and then the fund will also have to pay for the funny clothes that need to be worn. And no, there'll be no cross-dressing, regardless of how much you pay.
Cross-dressing.
Hey, I've seen people do weird things for charity.
It is. All right.
Poll. Should we do more polls?
That's a good poll. Yeah. Should we do more polls? Yes.
That was another poll someone asked us, Yep.
All right. We've got a couple of questions. Blamsmith question: does the Legionnaire have a standard drop ship tax? No, it doesn't seem to. That's the thing.
No.
I now put out the Hoplite and I go, the Hoplite's dead. Just dead. What you're essentially getting with the Hoplite is the ability to swap out those modules and you get the versatility. So that's what you're getting. Obviously, you've also got it's technically a heavy fighter as well, so you've probably got more higher components down. Sit down. She was bugging me to get up, and now she wants to. You're annoying. Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of agree. It does kind of to put words into CIG's mouth. It's the Hoplite killer. I still think the Hoplite does have a value because it does have the redundancies. I'm still not sure whether we can swap the Hoplite module out from the others because of the.
You can.
I'm not sure whether they did tie that in.
No. I'm not sure if you can either. I'd have to double check on that because if you can't,
that's one I'd have.
Yeah.
If you can't, it really does.
It's a nail in the coffin.
You're right.
Yeah, nail in the coffin. It does have a nice cockpit though. This is the first kind of bigger Anvil ship where we've got a side by side that's got like a real cockpit because the Carrack is those seats. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. It's very indicative of the Aegis in. I just want to point out that that's an Aegis ship in an Anvil screenshot. So it kind of tells you what their thought process is. That they intend to have it working with other ships.
While I think this is way better than a Valkyrie, and what's the current price of a Valkyrie? I know the Valkyrie's more expensive, but it's
something like that. It's over $300.
Right, so it's at that price. This kills the Valkyrie. It kills the Valkyrie, it kills the steel, it kills...
The Valkyrie, though, still has the vehicle.
Sorry, not the Valkyrie, I meant the Hoplite. What's the price of the Hoplite? Not the
$235 last time I looked. Hold on.
$235. In that case, it kills the Hoplite, it kills the steel, just in that price. But what the Hoplite does add over this is it does have more firepower.
Very hard to type with you, see my laptop.
But then this ship is not a ship that's meant to be used with... to knock out the weapons and do the boarding. It's literally a ship being used with a mothership. The mothership, like either that lands on a small pad, the Polaris or the Odyssey or the Javelin or the Liberator. Well, God, the Liberator. How's that going to do it? But the accompanying ships have done that. either made the ship incapable of fighting or
Algared 235, bro. For the
235
for the hoplite. Can someone in chat, just you can at me in chat or whatever, because the last thing I remember, the hoplite does change modules just like the thing, but it's been a hot minute since, like, at least 12 months since I've even looked at that ship. Can someone let me know if it still does change modules over or not? And we'll go from there. But I'm pretty sure it has the modules, mate.
And as I said, atmosphere troop drops and that are totally different from the ship ones, and that's where the Valkyrie, not the Valkyrie, the Valkyrie and the hoplite do retain their value. They can be for landing ships, where we don't. And this was where I know I said, but the Hammerhead does this, but this is where John Crew was right. It fills a gap. We don't actually really have a dedicated small ship boarding tool. This is it.
A lot of the other ships are like go down to ground. They're drop ships. You know? So that's ship to ground. This is ship to ship. So but can you see what I'm trying to say about how it being more niche? That's essentially what I meant.
But it does also have a ramp at the back, so you could actually use this for ground operations as well. But its strength is that ability to do ship to ship boarding. So, and for $100, that's the cheapest and that in that sense, the cheapest and best drop breaching ship we've got at the moment.
So Edison got back to me and he said, yes, the hoplite can change modules like all the Vanguards. Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, I do remember there was something bespoke about the Vanguard. They had to make it wider and stuff, and I think they did that across the board on all of them eventually. So yeah, thank you for that, Edison. I was pretty sure that's how it was.
I wasn't sure they'd done that.
All right, so our poll after 6 minutes has said 76%, 77% with 78 votes. All right, so I wonder if I should do another one on how we should give it away, but I don't. Maybe you can just give me like your thoughts, like right question on how we should give it away. Do we just do it via comments? Do you have to come up with something creative? Like how do you reckon we should give it away? And we'll do that. I'll pick one up and then gift it to whoever wins that. And yeah, I need to think of how to give it away. I'm not. This is not something we've done before, Algared, is it? We don't give ships away.
No, we tend not to like to give ships away. We've tended to always feel that was an ingenious, not an ingenious, but not a correct way to grab a channel.
Yeah,
ingenuine way of build a channel. We don't want people just on the channel because we give shit away. We want people on the channel because they enjoy the interaction, they enjoy the information, they enjoy the other stuff.
So we'll do it for Invictus, but I don't know if we'll do it all the time. We'll see. If there's like a huge influx of people, then maybe we might have to request.
That's right. If we suddenly go if our membership and that goes through the roof and YouTube suddenly becomes awesome, then that might change out. We might sell out to the man, but we resisted putting ads in our shows for so long because we didn't want to do that. And the only reason we ended up doing it was just because
the algorithm.
If we didn't put them on, the algorithm just killed us. And so
it's the way the cookie crumbles. All right. In poll.
Oh, there seems to be a lot of chat about the landing ships. It's scrolled through very fast. I'll see if I can scroll back and have a read a little bit. Let's see. I'll leave the question because it's not there, because it'll come up in the other things. I really wish they'd make a bounty. So Bobby's comment was, I really wish they'd make a bounty hunting Anvil heavy armor fighting terrapin with prisoner pods. And that's one of the areas where they said this is a bounty hunting ship. But there's no.
I was really surprised they talked about piracy, like how it works on both sides of the law, but it also, because it does work on both sides of the laws, it just tells you how dependent this ship is going to be on a mothership, so to speak, or other ships, because it's doing the breach, but it's not going to hang around and fight.
It doesn't have the cargo.
No.
So you can't loot the stuff out of the cargo hold. It doesn't have prisoner container pod, so you can't capture your prisoner alive. You've got to kill him.
Yeah.
It doesn't have enough heavy weapons to take out a ship because it's only got 4 size 2 guns.
Yep. And it's got 2 little turrets on it, as far as I can tell. Oh, actually,
yeah.
Are they both remote?
The 2 little turrets are 2 size 2s. That's it.
Yeah, but they're both remote. I'm just realizing. Hang on.
They
Yeah,
are
2
both
times
remote.
2 remote. So that's probably controlled by the hacker. So you can't shoot and hack. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Or maybe the pilot can take control of them while he's hacking, because technically while he's docked, so they can maybe go between both operators. That'd be cool.
But 2 size 2 turrets, one basically firing forward and one basically firing rear, are not going to be strong enough to really take out a ship that you want to board. They might be able to fight off fighters, but not a ship like a Constellation where you're trying to board.
Yeah, and
it's
once,
not a stealth ship.
And once this thing's hacked in and they've secured the ship, this thing's just going to break off, so another ship can come and dock, so they can get the cargo off.
Yep.
So it's super niche.
So it is niche. It does have that limit, and the fact that it doesn't have those the prisoner pods. So even though it might be a bounty hunting ship, it's limited. And I noticed that there was a pack.
Go have a look at those.
In the style,
I don't think
the swarm pack has an arrow, has a hawk, has the Legionnaire. So the arrow is obviously your heavier firepower pew ship because it's got a bit more maneuverability and other stuff. The hawk is obviously your prisoner containment ship, so you can actually do the bounty hunting. But you can just see even there, you need to have other ships working with it to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But that's a problem. All those there's not many ships with those pods where you can actually take a prisoner alive.
Yeah. They style it. For me, my kind of takeaway is it's an earning game. Good value, as you said, potentially an LTI token. Just a little bit too niche for me. And like, if you're a completionist and you want everything, obviously there are going to be people who are going to buy it. But for me, it's very much an earning game. It falls into that sell your fighters mantra. I don't know about you, Algared. What's your kind of takeaway on it?
If you have a hoplite and you're into that boarding gameplay, I'd possibly consider sell your hoplite and get 2 of these.
Or even sell your hoplite and get this and something else completely different.
Yeah. Because I think this does the same job as a hoplite, but better in terms of the landing and breaching.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a combat vehicle. It's not as heavy pew, but it certainly does do that role quite well.
As they say,
At least in my opinion.
If you could lock people into their seats, it would be a viable bounty hunting ship.
Yes, it would.
Anyway, yeah.
Lock them in and then dive into the planet. Do Linus Tech Tips.
Sarjump says there, until they explain ship security systems in more detail, this is a pass for me. Yeah, they kind of really did need to go a little bit more into that hacking gameplay, didn't they? But again, they're not going to tell us that until they know more. We never really got a design doc on hacking either, like how that's going to work.
Yeah.
But if you look at go look at other games, I'm sure it's something similar to that, where it's usually about like doing the circuitry, or or making a path, or breaking a firewall, or something of that description. And I'm assuming it'll be along those lines.
I think I'm wanting to have internal ship turrets. Covering those entrances.
Actually, that's a really good idea. But we'll see where we're going. But again, they want this game to be World War II in space, so you kind of got to go backwards a little bit before you can go forward.
Yep.
Sorry, someone's message.
Yeah. So this is your landing craft. Your to me, it comes across like.
Yeah. So
it had more of a feel of the when the Navy sends the little launchers across to board a ship and check it. That's what this kind of had more of a feel for. So if you're doing customs checking and you've got a ship that you want to check into the cargo of manually,
I
they've
think
hauled to. You don't, they've hauled to. They're letting you aboard. This is the type of ship you want to use to do that.
I think if this ship is my camera's going again. I think if this ship is literally in combat, I think you're doing it wrong, type of thing. I think this ship comes in after the combat's over. Clearly, 2 size 2s. Anyone that's been in the what's that ship? The Vanguard, and on the the Sentinel. Like I remember being in a Sentinel turret, and it was terrible. But we'll see. And I don't know why my camera's not recovering. Sorry.
I do like the fact that they have made the turrets remote as well, so you're actually reducing that need for crew requirement. So it is a 2-man crew with an 8-man squad capability. So
yeah.
Well, while Execute's fixing his camera, the Goblin said, the real question is, can you board the Vanduul? I believe the UE has only ever captured one Vanduul ship, and that was a carrier. And that was because the carrier's reactor had a catastrophic failure where the radiation had killed all the crew. Normally, the Vanduul, from memory, self-destruct before you board them, so getting the material is usually pretty bad. That carrier, which we did capture, is the one where I believe we also get the information for the regeneration sphere, whatever they call it, I can't remember. So, in answer to that question, Goblin, I don't believe we can. Or if you can, it'll be very short-lived because you'll die. Either by having a Vanduul spear skewer you or because they'll self-destruct.
Yep.
Dark Side has cookies. I think I'll go to the Dark Side then. What do you think about the minimum Cuddy Blue Redeemer for escort for the Legionnaire? What do you think the minimum escort?
That would be a question more tailored at the military boys than myself. And honestly, as I said, I almost could see this. You know, the whole. Let's say it's an Idris to Idris battle. I'd almost see the whole ship that's been taken over being locked down, and then this departs once the combat's over. Like, there's almost no reason to put the ship in harm's way. Like that shot there that just went past with them being shot the shit out of. No, I just don't see that happening. That'd almost be, a ship that's come back out in desperation, just trying to stop them. But yeah, I just don't see that happening. Because if you're doing that in combat, then you're either really desperate or about to get killed. So yeah.
Yeah, I could see it needing, like, it's got heavy armor and it's got the shield, so it can take some damage. And I could imagine some turrets. You know, you've incapacitated the ship. You're wanting to board the ship quickly because you know reinforcements are coming, so it might still have turrets going. So you do need it to be able to take some damage, but it's not. But like you said, it's not the ship that's going to be disabling that ship. I really do think it's a ship paired with a javelin. I think that's the ideal pairing for this ship, and the javelin in that case has done the damage.
I can see it come again. You got a medium pad on a javelin. If it can go smaller and go into Idrises and Krakens, and as you even pointed out, the Liberator. I would. I'm going to go back, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any. Like, it doesn't really talk about the fuel tanks here at all. So there's nothing. So it's just standard. You know, that to me again makes it a fleet-based ship, because it doesn't say anything about long range or anything like that.
No, it doesn't talk any. I couldn't see anything about the engines or the quantum drive or anything else. My concern about it fitting on an Idris, even if it does fit on a small pad, is that height.
Yeah,
because in the past,
it is
in the height, it stopped the ship getting out of the Idris hangar.
Yeah, so.
But if it's a small pad, it'll certainly fit on the Polaris because that's a vertical hangar. The Liberator, the Kraken.
It's definitely the tallest. It's definitely the tallest small ship if we have it, because as I said, it was 9.5 and this is 10.2, so extra 70 centimeters.
So that would possibly be another question for the Q&A.
Yeah, can it be equipped on an Idris and you could probably pair that all into one question, like what landing pad does this ship take off from, and what size ships can it come out of, like Idris Kraken question mark. But yeah.
Well, I don't think the Kraken's an issue because the Kraken's got those small and medium pads. That's it doesn't matter. It can definitely do a Kraken. It can definitely do an Idris. The question is, can it do a Polaris? Can it do an Odyssey? Can it come out of an Idris hangar? They're probably the three we don't know. The others are almost a given. You know, at least the Kraken and the Javelin.
I do find it interesting how they've kind of, and I know SA's in chat, so he might be able to answer this better than I can, but like they're saying it's heavily armored and it's got 3 small shields. It's like they're trying to imply that this thing is going to be in combat all the time. I just don't see it as a thing. I just like unless like if you're really going in, because this is the other thing, right? They've also said that you can't dock with something and stay tethered because it'll just break off, right? So if basically if you're being brute forced and you're active, wouldn't you just start flying your ship forward so they can't stay docked? Like, it seems to me a little strange. So,
Yeah.
and the way that there's and that's why I think SA and the other military guys would have been saying that's why it would have some kind of teeth or, you know, electromagnet that locks onto the hull, so it can't be you can't just drive away. Because that's the easiest counter, is it not? You tell me if you think any different.
Yeah, and well, that's why we were saying it's a ship. You've got to have a disabled ship, or it's a ship that's haul to. You know, you're customs, you test it, you want to board them. They're a legitimate businessman. They haul to. They're letting you board. You know, in those situations. But if it's one where it's a forced boarding, yeah, it's. I would just say, oh, they're coming close. I'm just going to roll the ship. I'm rolling the ship. They can't board.
Now, Algared, you can just join on me, I'm assuming, when you get in.
Yep.
So I'm going to go in. Yep. I managed to. I stayed up late for me, which is 2 p.m. So late. I know it's the afternoon, but like I'm moving my sleep around to fit this stuff. Hey, Badges, drop in chat, man, if you want. People probably want to hear your perspective on the. Or are you unable to? Are you on the phone, Badges, or can you drop in Discord? Let us know. Anyway, because he can probably give us his thoughts on the old Legionnaire.
One
yeah.
thing I was thinking about the Legionnaire, I know that it's got heavy armor, which is the same as what the Terrapin has. I was just wondering how many shields the Terrapin has and what size they are. So I was going to go to the Matrix of Lies and
I remember it being 2, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since.
There's so many ships and it's been so long. It's so easy to make mistakes and get things mixed up. And
now the
so let's have a look.
Downside is I'm on Horizon. The upside is I've got the Mule, so we just got to get out of atmosphere. And then I'm pretty sure I had that stuff on Port Alisar, so I just got to get to Port Alisar.
Okay, so the Terrapin actually, according to the Matrix of Lies, has 2 medium shields.
As opposed to 3. Was it 3 small for this?
3 small for that.
They said back in the day 3 is equal to the size above. So that actually means the Terrapin's got a whole medium shield more than this.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch!
And heavier armor. And in terms of weapons, it's got the same weapons as a Terrapin. So you can see where they've gone in terms of, I imagine, the sizing of the ship. It is kind of seen as being more of a equivalent to a Terrapin. Yeah. But with different roles.
Yeah. So I'd almost argue the Terrapin's still more armored, which is crazy to think. But yeah, that's like 3 small. You just got to remember that. Like they're going, oh, it's got 3 small. It's again, it sounds cool on paper, and it's got 3 shields, because that's what most people will see. Like those of us like yourselves that basically go, deep dive into this stuff. It's all marketing. Crazy how they try to market this stuff. Anyway,
but I would, based on that, just that assumption, given the weapons and the shields and the armor being the same, I would guess it's going to have something like 2 small fuel tanks, a small quantum drive, a small jump drive, small quantum drive, because that's what the
shuttle will be departing.
what the Matrix of Lies says that the Terrapin has.
Yeah, so it's definitely I think Badges and SAO Pro back me up here. It's definitely a more military focused ship, but I think it falls into a similar category as other ships like the Eclipse and stuff that are just a bit more niche. Just think how often you're going to board. Like you're gonna put it this way, you're gonna have more combat than you are boarding. So it just drops it down a level for me. Is it a great LTI token? Yeah. Is the Mule a better one? Yeah. Yeah. Is it an earning game for me? Yeah.
It Execute. It ties in with salvage gameplay. Because, remember, when you want to salvage a ship, you've got to go in and check it out. So this is the ship you go in, you force the doors open if it's locked, you go in, you check it out. Yeah. You take all the good stuff off if you can, and then, it's, it ties in with salvage. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Look at me. Look, it's for when I'm jogging at night. You can still see them there, Algared, see?
I was recreating the character to be able to join you.
I'm wearing Star Kitty armor. Your favorite.
Please prepare to disengage.
Okay.
Explodo Games, are you Captain Explodo? I'm pretty sure that's who you are, bro. I'm pretty sure, but I'm just curious. Because YouTube's different from Twitch, so everyone has different names, so yeah. Algared.exe, stop responding. Wait, is there something? Wait. Algared, I think your camera's frozen, man.
It probably has because I went into game, so...
Yeah, so Algared has an issue with his camera. We both have the same camera, but different issues. When Algared goes between programs, it
freezes.
It freezes.
And Executes just freezes...
randomly.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is Captain Exploder. Cool. Nice to see you, mate. Still waiting on Badges. You there, mate?
I am, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? Are you at home, or are you still down in London?
I am. Unfortunately, the London trip got canned. Lots of work came up at the last minute, so where I should have been on the River Thames celebrating the London Lifeboat's 20th anniversary, I am at home having just finished work. So, oops.
I've got this vision of you just like eating dog food or something out of a can. Like, it sounds that depressed.
In my pants. Yeah. There you go. There's an image for you.
Yeah, he's in his pants.
Yeah.
Which is a good sign.
Legionnaire.
Tell us your thoughts, man. Tell us what you think of it.
This is exciting stuff. I did a little happy dance when because we were speculating about this yesterday, weren't we?
Yes.
When the advanced
sorry to interrupt, but look,
security.
I got 8 in the PTU. I have 8 prospectors for some bizarre reason. But anyway, that's weird. Yeah, sorry.
Fantastic. Are you trying to make John Citizen jealous?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a prospector contest.
That's more prospectors than I've got.
Yeah.
I'll have to check how many I've got in according to the ship matrix, because.
All right, so give us your thoughts real quick, because I'm about to get into Scorpius, and we can start talking about that as we fly up to.
Sorry, Feathers, you're entirely right. Yeah, pants is underwear in the UK. Yes, it absolutely is. Do you know what? I quite like the look of this ship. It'll be interesting to see how the precise details of how the docking thing works. But I did a happy dance because we were talking yesterday about the advanced infiltration thing that they'd mentioned that we'd seen from the Invictus show floor. And I did mention maybe it's the ability to override the whole docking control. And that you can effectively give yourself permission to dock. I
thought that was the same thing as well. We both gleaned that just from that little description. There's a little description from the show floor, and it talked about advanced hacking and stuff like that. And it's like, well, what would you be doing with the dock and shipping hacking? And what Badges just said, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only thing, because we were talking about this yesterday as well, that I'd love to see them implement with this is some sort of built-in cover with the docking tube.
Yeah.
So sort of metal panel that folds out and you can use to kind of defend the Legionnaire whilst you're sending people in.
When you said that, I thought that was like genius. But it doesn't seem to have eventuated, because if I can very quickly go back to this one singular screenshot that just destroys your hopes and dreams, or is it this one?
Thank you, mate. I do so enjoy it when you destroy my hopes and dreams.
I love shredding your dreams, man. But yeah, look,
you've become so efficient at it.
Yeah,
that's the worrying bit.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, that bit says, Bazzers, shut the F up and sit down, because that ain't happening.
So just to show you what we were talking about, so just for perspective, so what Badges is talking about is, remember I was talking about those little peak holes here, like on the left and right, is we thought this was some kind of shield for boarding. We're like, oh, that's so cool. No, it's just all fluff, and it means absolutely nothing. The points are made up, and they don't matter.
Yes. Yeah, because we were kind of speculating that maybe they physically extended through the door.
Yeah.
To prevent the door from closing. So it's just like, you know, like how you stand in a lift door to wait for your mates, and you're just like, nope, you ain't closing. And then there were two bits that looked perfect to be crouched behind and just lean peek. That looked just perfect. So we were just like, maybe it... No, not so much.
Algared, are you on the server?
I am.
Are you trying to call me instead of invite me?
I was trying to invite you, and it went to a call, so yes.
Wait, hang on. Invite to party. There we go. I just sent you a party invite. There you go.
You did, and I've just accepted your party.
Alright, whereabouts in the universe are you, Algared?
I am at Lawville.
Okay, well, you're going to have to fly up to Port Elisa then.
Oh, man.
But I might also... We might try out the Scorpius too.
Yep.
We'll have a go with the turret and stuff. I did a go on.
All the audience, all the NPCs are walking in place.
Oh, okay. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this HUD?
I don't know, because you're still on the Anvil Legionnaire page.
Oh, thanks for telling me. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, how's that? There we go.
Yeah, sorry, there's a few seconds delay between what you're changing on the screen before and what I can see. Ooh.
So it's very different, isn't it? Very light compared to other RSI HUDs.
Badges, another question for you.
Yes, mate.
What do you think is the perfect pairing as an escort ship to the Legionnaire?
Whilst I respond to his HUD question, I shall ponder that. Brackets, I'm kicking that can down the road. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, do you think they finally got the light responsiveness in on the HUD? Is that what you think you're seeing, X?
So one of the complaints I heard from someone is it's only got 2 MFDs, but it's a combat ship. Does it need more than 2? Like,
yeah.
But I like it. It's very minimalistic, a little bit futuristic. It's a pretty nice ship to fly. So just a couple of movement things, like it doesn't turn side to side, but up to down is way, like as you can see, it's way more responsive up to down. And the other thing that SA pointed out that I thought was really important is it rolls really well. He reckons it's a rolling fighter, and for those that I don't know the terminology like SA does, but SA, if you want to jump in and join us, I know you're probably still at work though, bro. You can jump in and tell people what you mean by that. But basically, yeah, so you're going to be rolling as you're flying it and fighting.
Yeah.
Algared, are you sending me invites, Algared, instead of just joining?
No, I've joined your invite, and that's it. As far as I am aware, I am in your party, and I'm on a train going to the Space HUD so I can get to Port Olisar. That's
okay.
all I've been doing.
No worries.
While patiently waiting for the answer to which was actually Darkside Cookie's question, which was, what do you think is the minimum escort for the Legionnaire?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
That's a what would it take episode. That's what he's essentially just asked you. So yeah, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that as an episode. What would it take to escort an Anvil Legionnaire? That's a good episode. Don't answer it. Don't answer it.
I'm sorry.
But
Dark Side with Cookies.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait for the milk because we're going to do an episode on that one.
I think that's definitely one. SA says like how a fighter jet banks roll and pitch. Yeah, so it's a rolling ship essentially, rolling fighter. Yeah.
I feel like I should answer Darkseid a little bit though, because he's got cookies.
Go on.
He's got cookies, man. So
yeah, but he doesn't have any milk.
You've got 5 seconds there, Stokes.
Yeah.
Go. 1, 2. No.
It's very much going to depend on exactly what it is you're attacking. I don't know that sounds like a cop-out, but yeah.
Man, it looks like an X-Wing. It really does. Like, I can't... like, even... If you ever played the old X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter games, just the way the bullets come in and... Oh, it's crazy. It's like they had to add the turret just to go, it's not an X-Wing.
Yeah, well, you know, that would have been... That was to help them avoid...
lawsuits.
No, litigation.
Yeah. Because
it doesn't have a drone.
Disney is notoriously aggressive in defending its IPs.
Yeah, they're bastards.
There's a rumor going around, and it is just a nasty rumor, that part of what forced Games Workshop to call its Imperial Guard Astra Militarum and not Imperial Guard was the Disney purchase of the Star Wars franchise, because they thought the lawyers were going to come after them, because Imperial Guard are, of course, the people who stand either side of Palpatine in the long red,
the red
uniforms.
Yeah.
Yes. So for those that are not complete nerds, that's what they're called. I mean, the more cynical people say it's just because then it stopped, using Astra Militarum made the name specific, and it stopped people copying and doing third-party miniatures, and I think that's probably more true. But I do like the "oh God, Disney are coming for us" kind of story as well.
Yeah, unfortunately it's true, but Imperial Guard is, you could just argue, hey, it's taken from the Roman Empire. It's taken from here. It's taken, it's not as if. It's Napoleonic, the Imperial Guard.
And that's exactly what lends credence to the idea of trying to wipe out third-party models, right? Because it.
If you can track anything back to something from history, I think like the name, like Imperial Guard, I don't think they've got any right leg to stand on when it comes to copyright. I think they need to call it Made Up Banana Guard or something like that.
If the armor of his Imperial Guard looked very much the same, if it looked like the red hood, but it's blue instead of, then you could possibly make the case, but it's the same. But yeah, if it's just a name and you've got a historical precedent.
That's it. And again, that's why it's far more likely that's why they changed the name, because then people can't go, come on, everyone calls stuff Imperial Guard. You don't get to trademark that. Whereas Astra Militarum, far easier to trademark.
Yeah, that one they can say, no, this is ours.
I think I've got the no marker bug.
No, that'd be joyous.
Yep, vehicle parking inbound. Is it this one?
Find him! Find him!
Not this one? Wait, this is a medium ship, isn't it? It's a medium.
That's a no.
Yeah, so it's a medium.
What you did is you sent me a friend's request, not a party invite.
Alright, fine. Don't be my friend then.
I reckon
I got your friend. I accepted your friend request, but you didn't send me a party invite.
Alright, it's not this one.
Which is why the
I reckon it's 10.
No, it's not.
You sure?
I went over 10 as well. I'll do it again.
Ooh, 9.
No, and I went over that one. So.
I bet you can't guess what I'm going to say next, but 8. If not 8, I reckon 7? Question mark?
It's telling me it's already been granted. So.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh wait. It's this one. Is it this one? No. Nope.
Yes.
Oh man. Not this one. Not this one. Man, I hate it when it doesn't. I hate this bug. It's so annoying. I did an interview with the Eradicator during the week, and he.
Yeah.
And a part of the he's doing a little race thing, and I don't want to give away what he's doing because it's not out yet. But in the thing, I couldn't see the marker. So when I was coming down from orbit, I couldn't see the marker, and so I had to go down and then just look at which one was open and land, and it gave me this like 20 seconds off my time. It was so annoying.
I do have a marker for you. That's good.
Can I just point out that the guesses that we had yesterday for the price of this thing, we all would have got 2. Esso would have got 3.
Yeah, I did point that out earlier, but yeah.
When I saw the ship, my initial guess would have been hoplite pricing. Just on the size of the crew that it could carry, and not knowing the weapons or anything else. So, I can understand why it's less, because it's hoplite has bigger weapons. This has less. But it carries 8 rather than 6.
Did you see how it shoots through itself to Algared? Like the guns still fire. Look.
Hang on.
Oh yes, yeah. They still aim forward.
So,
yeah.
What kind of programmer didn't go? Yeah, might want to turn the guns off. That'd be a good idea.
Initiating ship storage procedure.
Yep, please.
Safety, please vacate the
I'll
area.
just pay the fine.
Thank you
It's
for your
PTU. It
cooperation.
really doesn't matter. And I don't have to walk inside then as well. It's full lazy mode.
Wow. Inforunners would have loved to have showed you the Scorpius, but we kept getting it impounded, so we couldn't.
For your safety, please vacate the
Wait,
area.
I'll pay the fine
Thank you for your cooperation.
when it sucks me inside, and then Algared and I can wait. What the hell? Okay, now I can move. I gotta remember where the fine things are now. On all else. Wait, is this them? Hey, that was.
They were in the hallway.
Yeah, I found them. You have no outstanding. Oh wait, maybe it's on.
Yeah,
the
no, it's through
ship.
the claim terminal.
ASOP, yeah.
Welcome to the ASOP.
They did fix the zoom on the ASOP too, I noticed as well.
Oh, did they? Oh, so glad for that.
Hey, fine.
Oh,
That vehicle is currently impounded to Scorpius.
what was the price on the Scorpius concept? I got a question in chat.
200, I think, is what I think it was, but yeah, don't
Let
quote
me
me
go
on
and check.
Vehicle selected.
Yeah.
Stand
that. Alright, 220, I think now, or 220? Yeah, 220. 220.
Your vehicle has been delivered.
Since I actually have one in my hangar, I can tell you.
Are you on
I've
your
just gotta
way?
find
Are you on your way yet, Algared?
I am on my way. I am quantuming to you ever so slowly.
I'm surprised you didn't set yourself to horizon, because everything's at
I
horizon.
wasn't thinking. I was just thinking the standard.
Yeah.
200 was the value of the Scorpius that I had from original concept.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
200.
Edison said Warbond was 200, yeah. So that's a couple. Yeah. Okay, so I did have a mule in here, and there is no longer a mule in here. So,
Okay.
well, that sucks.
But yeah, I might go down to the planet and shop the mule, Algared, because by the time you get here, when you get here, then we can maybe do the Scorpius. And if you want to
Yep.
go on the mule, I'll go back down after stream.
If I jump in with the questions, so while you guys are
Yep, that sounds good.
gallivanting off in the verse.
I was just about to go back to the questions, and we're up to Benj M's question.
Benj M. Okie dokie. So,
Which is the third question.
talking about the Legionnaire, Benj M says, why does it require a dedicated VTOL and armor alone? Question mark.
That's a good point. I believe Essay had a really good point about the so basically as it comes into the ship, it rotates those VTOLs to actually slow itself down. I remember him talking about that. You remember that, don't you?
Rapid deceleration, literally just full burn. Yeah, and I think rapid positioning as well. Part of the key is going to be, you know, I don't think they're going to have a long window once you hack into the systems and you go, give me permission to dock, because you're now actively altering states on the other ship. I think the chances are you've got a short window between that happening and you being able to get the dock off, and then them being able to react and prevent you doing it. Dedicated VTOL is going to let you position much quicker than if you didn't have it.
Let me throw this at you then. Is there any reason you couldn't use this as a dropship as well?
No, absolutely not. You just, be careful which way you face it when you land. Because if you've seen Saving Private Ryan, that docking collar tunnel thing looks like an absolute death trap.
Yes, but it does have a ramp at the back.
There is. That's true. I'm just thinking like those minigun emplacements that are on the bunkers. You're just like, please point at me. Please point at me. Please point at me.
Yep. But I think you could use this as use the Legionnaire as a
I'm being
dropship in that
cute.
case.
Yeah.
Are they
And that's
players?
also very-
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
I finally remembered to go in and fix my camera. There you go.
They are not happy with you.
Wow, they are. No, there's a good guy there. As it's just bots, so I'm just gonna outfly it. Shubin mining
You're a
facility
criminal, are you?
SCD. No, I'm not. SCD-1 Algared on Daymar.
Okay.
So, our John, if it's got a more it's sexy pronunciation than that, I apologise. I'm just going to go with our John. Says, I like the black skin, it makes it a lot more stealthy. I also wonder if it would actually break off after boarding. Doesn't the collar lock on and basically create one entity between the two ships?
Can you imagine if
I
that
think
was a
it's just a
feature
word like
where it does break off, but the docking thing's permanently open because it's like jammed in there? so you, like they shoot the ship off, but everyone can just EVA in because it's open. That'd be funny. Almost like a broken lock, a broken key in a lock, if you get the analogy.
Yeah. Rather than one Legionnaire with 8 people on it, it's like 9 Legionnaires. And we're just going to screw everyone's docking collars. You're not going to be able to dock. You're not going to be able to dock.
Yeah.
To go back to Ben GM's question, in terms of why does it require the dedicated VTOL armor alone? Well, it's also got those 3 small shields. But in terms of the armor, most of the armor appears to be at the front, so it's going to be taking incoming fire from that if it does have incoming fire, and hopefully you're not using it in that regard. But that armor is also going to protect it when it bumps up against another ship. So you've got those buffer dampeners as well as the armor to protect the ship if it does collide. So that would be why I would see it having armor as well.
Just while you're waiting, X, if you could go back to the page and then scroll down to the image they have just below where they list the technical specs.
Yep. Just give me a
I
minute.
think I've just figured out why it's got its namesake. I really hope this is true, but from that angle, it absolutely looks possible.
So we should be back on the browser page. Yep, cool, we are. What did you want to look at?
So just below where the technical specs are listed, there's an image, and one is landed pointing at the camera.
Technical spec.
Have you noticed how the armor plate just above and behind the bridge looks like it slots very neatly into that V shape right in front of the...
Yeah, I think it
So it
does
looks like
slide
it
over.
docks.
If you're asking if it slides over like the Terrapin. And that's
Exactly that,
gunshots.
Yeah. So maybe that, basically, it slots into place, the pilot gets it there, and just like Independence Day, where it, they're like, we have tinted windows, and the armor plate comes down to protect the bridge from ballistic rounds. That looks really cool if that's the case.
Yeah.
And effectively, it just protects itself. That would be really cool. You might need to go back to your game vision now.
Yep.
Now, I always forget, as I said earlier, I always get Anvil and Aegis mixed up because they sound alike and they're both military. Carrick, Anvil or Aegis? Anvil, isn't it?
Anvil, yeah.
And so it has that rolling shutter that protects the bridge. So having that on the Legionnaire would be quite cool, and also pay homage to the design language of Anvil. So yeah, I'd like to see it have that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Starjump, I assume that's you, Grim. Hello, mate. It says there's a piece in the newer model I have that does sort of look like a cockpit shutter system, but it's still hard to tell. Yeah, that would be really cool, and it would make sense to defend itself from turrets that were on that vessel once they became aware of its presence. Yeah, to our John's question, I don't think it will be leaving stuff behind. I think maybe the ship will be able to effectively shake that off, especially if it's a more maneuverable ship. and just shake the docking collar loose, get it past its tolerances. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one. You know, just from a physics point of view, how are they going to get the two ships to not just auto explode?
I think it'll work like the docking collars. I don't think there's going to be an issue with that. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Sorry to steal the limelight. Have you finished with that question?
Yes.
All right. We're going to talk about the Mule, or aka the Rock 2, because this uses exactly the same animation frames to get in. One advantage though is it's got a closed cab. Oh, Algared's just turned up, loud and proud. Individual racks here for individual pieces of SCU. You can fit 3, you know, the little crates you carry. You can put 3 of them on each side. There is some kind of weird thing in here in the back to put cargo up. And you might have seen some memes of this thing being like Wall-E, because it literally has these 2 little arms that seem to be forklift-ish type things for cargo, but I don't see how the arms can get cargo into the back. So you know how Wall-E threw trash into himself and then squeezed it, and then he dropped out a box. It does, because my first thought was, what if it goes under? But it can't go under because your legs are there. So I was thinking like maybe it feeds it underneath itself and then, you know, sucks it up, unless there is some kind of crate thing here that I don't quite understand. So I'm hoping they go into detail about how this thing works. But again, this being flight ready and the cargo refactor not being too far away, I don't think we're going to have to wait too long to find out that stuff.
The security booth on wheels. Yeah.
So other than the steps, so actually, it is a different animation now I think about it, because you have to walk up the steps on the rock, don't you? It is a different animation. I was wrong. But yeah, in a cab, so you not open to the elements like you are on the rock, but it is very rock based. And one of the other things that some very astute of you would notice is it's actually one of the vehicles from the vote image. It's the middle one on column B, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Ah, yes it is, you're right.
Yeah, which initially when I saw that I thought it was an Argo, not an Argo, sorry, a Grey Cat vehicle. Right, you get bonus points for when you run over old people, don't you? You get bonus points? Get them away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, not exactly a top speeder, but it does drive very well.
It looks like it'd be fairly have a good balance.
Well, believe it or not, having a rock and this on a Cutlass is so beneficial. Take them both into a cave, bring out so much more stuff. Because, Anyway, what I'll do, just because Algared has not actually had a go of this yet, right? So we can get some live reactions, Algared. So do you want to come and have a drive around, and I'll film you driving around? Well, and if you crash, if you crash, we get to laugh at you. That's how it works, right?
That's nothing new. That is nothing you execute. You laugh at me all the time.
Yeah. So the button's just here. Sarah, it's just. Can you see the button there?
Oh, where that little orange button. Yep, I see it now.
Yep. Yeah. So it is a different animation. I thought it was the same, but it's not. It's different.
And the fact there are similarities, like the way the glass closes and all the rest of it, but the fact that it's an enclosed cab also really does. How many ships have...
Before you...
Running over cats gets bonus points, doesn't it?
Yeah. Ha 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 ha, very funny. Before you do that, there's a deploy button in there somewhere off to the left or right. Can you deploy the Wall-E arms for me? I just want to show that to people real quick.
See if I can find left or right.
It says deploy.
Deploy.
There you go. So that, to me... Like, looking at these metal things here, looks like some kind of gravity thing. And I reckon what it's going to do is it'll just be... You know, you got the tractor beam, but it just goes side to side, and I think you're just going to be able to pick up and move crates. But the thing that's very interesting is the width of these crates is more like a standard SCU unit, and that's exactly what's in the back here is there. That looks like a single standard SCU unit. I just don't see how it goes from the front to the back.
I don't think it does. I wonder.
They are cargo panels, though. You know what I mean?
No. What I mean is maybe the two are exclusive systems. So if you're going to put this in your cargo handling ship, we keep saying, well, you know, you're going to have to make a choice between having vehicles and having cargo. Well, this just sticks cargo up its backside as an extra little bit of carry.
Yeah, you reverse over the cargo, hit your tractor beam or whatever it is connecting, and
Does that mean there's a
container.
backwards facing camera?
Possibly. Have a look.
There was an explosion in the background, Algared. I'm a bit worried. So if we die
Well,
horribly,
Uh,
right,
yeah, there's a ship flying over there. It's probably just destroyed my
that's all
No, it
good.
hasn't destroyed my. No, there's a ship coming in, but it looks like it's going to be shooting at my at the Raven.
Oh, you've got. See if you can.
Algared,
See if you can hit this thing, and get the first confirmed mule kill of the game.
Yeah.
Just
Pack your arm. You
hit
pack your.
that person.
Whoa, we are getting some weird graphical issues here when this guy fires his guns. You can put the Algared. You're driving away from me, but can you put those arms? You might want to put the arms away too. It does sound like an EV, electronic vehicle, like it. Very cool little animation. I do like that. All right, go for a drive, Algared. I'll try and follow you best I can.
yeah. Jedi Drifter in
too
chat
fast.
says it will hold 2 SU, 1 under and 1 in the forks.
Oh,
yeah,
there you
agreed.
go. There you go. But I just.
He's a red.
Yeah.
He's an evil player.
It's so janky. I love it.
Yeah.
It's got a very tight turning circle.
Like when I first thought of this thing, I was like, I wonder if you can drive these along the hallways of a Kraken. You know how they talked about driving the cargo backwards and forwards? I wonder if this actually can physically fit in the hallway of a Kraken.
This has the best turning circle of any vehicle in game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, by the way, if you stop, Algared, stop for a second.
Oh dear.
It's also got components. Yeah, and if you look back there, there's actually room for more as well. So that's the yeah, I'm probably sure there are other component slots. They're the only two I know of. Right, here we go. Here's another one, I think.
Yep.
They look like shit. It says computer, so that's computer. Oh, that's the inventory. That's the inventory.
That's really cool.
And I reckon this one will be inventory as well. Oh, fuel port. What?
Yeah, baby.
Wow, that's like R2-D2 wanting to dock with someone. That's kind of creepy. Look at our coolers. And radar.
Literally, as you said that, I saw the animation for the fuel port extending. I feel violated.
The wheels. I'm wondering if this is missing a radar though, because that says radar, but there's only one in there. So maybe they're changing that.
Well, it's got a radar. That'll be nice because it can actually look for gems and other stuff. So this would also be a ship that could, when you're doing hand mining.
I'm just having a really quick look, Algared, if there's another one. Sorry, keep talking.
It would be a great vehicle for just having, if you're just wanting to do that, get those gems and do the light mining.
Yeah.
A great vehicle for that. But the fact, like you said, I can't see how those Wally arms work for putting cargo in the back section. Yeah. But I could see this reversing over a crate.
Yes.
But that means it's got to have some kind of camera in the back.
Yep.
To line up. And the other thing is, it almost looks like there's already a crate here. Can you, if I hold F, if you guys can see, that actually looks like a crate. It's really strange to me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
it would, it would be great, like they say, to have maybe an empty crate that you can take.
Wait, hang on. What the fuck's this? What the fuck's that? What? Look, look on top. Don't move, Algared. Yeah, you'll see it when I try jumping up there. It almost looks like there's an SCU crate on top of it. Look.
Yep.
What the fuck's that?
It looks like handrail-y type things as well. So.
Yeah, like it comes out. Wait, I can't quite.
I take it it's not interactable.
Ah, no. And I'm derpy as fuck and can't stay up there. Hold on.
Jump onto the cargo rail.
I was thinking that kind of cavern at the back.
Doesn't want me to get on top of it. There we go.
was where the cargo would go when it's being stored. So just what I was thinking.
So maybe you can
so my
take.
question would be
maybe
whether
you
you'd carry two, you know, one in the arms and one in the back section.
What if the arms can load a box into its top, and then when it's in the top, it deploys it out the back somehow? Like,
I just think, it's given how tight the turning circle is, that I wouldn't be surprised.
oh yeah, it just turns and lands. Yeah, I get you. You drop it on the ground,
it's your-
turn, go. Yeah, I'm with you now. I'm with you. Yeah.
But
Sorry, I'm way
think
ahead of
it's
you.
also-
Yeah.
I think it's also ideal as, you know, we've said for a while we need a forklift.
We have.
Yep.
This is a forklift for
Wait, Algared, stop for a second.
places like this.
It almost
where you need a.
Algared, it almost looks like it's
Yep.
got some kind of scoopy arm system. Can you see this? Like that.
Hang on, let me. I'll
So
change to your camera
I
view.
actually think this comes out and kind of picks up the crate up from the ground. So it's got like that. It almost looks like a scoopy arm, like that could fold out and then pull a cube into itself. Oh, I'm.
Show me what you were talking about again, because I had to
Just
change
here.
my view from my
Just-
game view to
See this little bar here?
your game view.
See this
Yeah,
little-
I think
yeah.
that's potentially just hold it in place. I think you just kind of back up over something and that's it.
We'll see. All right, Algared, give me a drive. I want to get in real quick, if you don't mind.
Let
Can
me
I?
get back into. Yeah, you can. I've just got to get back into game. I just. No, getting into.
Yeah. Nathan, I don't think we've seen a price for the Mule yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas.
The rock was $55. I expect around that or possibly cheaper. I would put Mule lower than a mining vehicle, or would you put them? Yeah, I don't know. And Drake is cheaper, one of the cheapest manufacturers in game. So
Yeah.
going by that.
When I first saw this, I thought it reminded me of. Because actually, should put a couple of pictures from.
Oh, that's a really
and I
good
thought It
idea.
looked like an Argo. Argo on
Eduardo
wheels,
says,
what I thought.
go into the cargo building, buy cargo for it.
Oh, that's
See what it does.
really. Oh wait, where's
Yeah.
the cargo building?
Should have
The blue lights on top.
blue light, yeah.
Wait, sorry, blue lights. I do not do
Oh, the
cargo.
red light.
Which one?
Yeah, it'll have, yeah, there you go,
This one?
closest to you.
Blue's the hangar and red's the cargo.
Oh, red's
I made
cargo.
an error. I was in error. You don't shoot me, I'm old.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or older.
Okay. we
But
did-
I can see this. This is utility. This is a straight-up utility vehicle. Oh, a headless corpse. Oh no, not a headless corpse. Someone has been killed and looted.
Oh, we can. One SCU. What do we want to buy?
yes, do it.
We'll buy waste because it really stands out. Destination full.
Rude.
Purchase waste.
Because it's Drake and it deserves it.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
And it fills in,
see-
and it goes into that bottom section.
it did.
See, you,
Oh,
That
nice.
hole.
Let's have a look.
It goes into that whole section,
Nice.
and you can see it.
awesome.
Let's have a look. Ah, confirmed. Hey, what's that bit at the bottom? That was added. That was.
Chungus, absolutely. That'll fit in the black. No doubt.
That'll fit. But what? Sorry, the black.
In the Cutlass Black, yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
really cool. I'm not going to lie. Right, I want one.
Yeah.
that is a really nice little ship, and it's a and the forklift, I think, is going to be ideal for moving cargo around on a ship.
Yeah.
Especially
I'm
when the
happy with
cargo.
that.
Load.
When the cargo refactor comes in and you have to manually move all your own shit around, man, I might have to buy a ship that's not a ship that I don't want to buy.
Imagine,
Imagine. Plentiful in game though by then, surely.
imagine
Right.
cargo refactor on a planet like this where you have to load it onto your ship.
Chat, you are going to have to find another way to describe the Cutlass Black than just calling it the Black, because
Yeah.
YouTube keeps flagging you as being potentially racist. So find a Cutty B or something.
Algared?
But yeah,
Algared, I'll move
YouTube's being painfully woke.
I'll move the star on it. Can you drive it into the back, please? I think we should get out of here. There's just a bit too many ships here for my liking all of a sudden.
Oh, maybe it's just people who know we're streaming it.
I think you're being stream snipers, fellas.
I don't know. There's
Like
a lot
if
of fighting
people
going
wanted to
around.
cause us grief, I think they'd have killed us already.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. Australians are pretty friendly most of the time, though, so yeah.
I mean,
And then if my Raven's still alive, I'll go get that and.
No. Come get just put this. I want to go back to
I'll
this.
put that in.
But no, I want you to come with me because I want to get in the Scorpius and I want to go for flying the Scorpius.
Yeah, I'll fly the Scorpius back. I'll fly the Raven back if it's still there.
That's gonna. You've never got the art of drawing things live. I need you with me because of time, not because of what I want you to do. It's because of time. Because I need you. People will be waiting for you, Algared.
Right, let's interrupt Mummy and Daddy fighting with another question from chat. Xperia888 says, how will they ever make the Prowler worth it now that this exists?
I think that's the secret. They won't, and that's why it was sold first.
Your pessimism, X. Your pessimism.
Oh, we've been saying it for years. They're selling the worst ships to the best, generally speaking. Like,
He has been saying that for years.
Mm.
Alright. Here we go. What the hell? We're damaged. Someone did shoot us.
Yeah,
I
but they
would
didn't
go
kill
with
it.
two potentially completely different approaches to boarding, would be my guess.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Well, one's a boarding, one's a drop, and one's stealth, and one's brute force. Again,
You've got to
rock,
look-
paper, scissors every single time.
You've got to look at what the Prowler is doing. The Prowler was an infiltration ship. It was a ship for getting your sabotage crews onto enemy cruisers or destroyers or carriers and causing mayhem.
Yes.
The whole profile of that ship and how the Tavaran used to board a ship, totally different from the way we normally consider boarding. They'd board a ship, do all the mayhem, cause the systems to be disrupted, so their mothership could destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a nasty approach, really. So the Prowler's a totally different style, but in terms of gameplay and history, it's where we get our shield tech. It's Tavaran, where we get our shield tech. It's where we get our stealth tech. It's where we get our a lot of those features where we don't need to rely just on physical armor or things like that. So, so yeah, different style of different philosophy, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just got to cut to this because we were just talking about it. Retina Burners living up to his name by asking the question, okay, so which one's daddy? Let's not go down that route. An essay is getting wailed on by Nightbot. Essay, I can't save you, dude. It's not even giving me the option. Nightbot's just like, no, stop it. So yeah, Essay is getting kicked around chat by Nightbot.
He's used to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't help you with Nightbot. Nightbot's got a mind of its own. The AI, Skynet is real.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do find it funny how all the vehicles we've looked at, like, I keep shitting on it, and then we go do the Mule and it's utility, and I'm like,
that is
combat doesn't interest me at all. Mining, no, but then just this random cargo, I'm like, yeah, alright.
So Edison asks, is this how Anvil's going to try and take over by Aegis by boarding their ships and sending them back to the UEE? Yeah, possibly. I have this surplus of ships that I happen to have acquired now that I have a Legionnaire on sale.
We found a cache of Anvil ships or Aegis ships. We'll sell them back to you.
Nothing but net.
Systems off.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit. It's real simple, but I'm just really kind of happy with that Mule. I don't know why.
That Mule is a very nice. It's a very nice little ship. It's kind of got the appeal of the Argo, for me, but it's also got the clear utility and use.
Yeah.
So you can actually see how it's going to really come into its own, and really be a valuable ship in the cargo refactor.
I do have questions though. Like, I really want to know what the hell this thing is on top, because that just looks freaking weird.
Could be another module.
Yeah.
Very
Access.
Wally inspired though, by the way.
Yeah.
They should have called it
does.
the Mule, just as a reference to
Mule,
Wally.
yeah.
Muley. Okay, so Bo Bath says, do you think CIG is coming to their senses in price? The last few ships have been priced well with the community, e.g. Hoverbike and this.
Yeah, I'd
and the
agree.
Expanse, I would argue, as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think they kind of really pushed it to see how far they could go, got burned, and they're dialing it back.
Yeah, they're dialing back to a realistic level so that, you know, and I think that a realism that you don't need to have massive big sales or massive big prices and on ships to make them popular. You know, you can have a reasonably priced ships and they'll still sell and you'll still get the benefit of that sale.
But they probably had
I
to
can
test that to find where that happy medium point was, so they probably went to the high to see how high it was to figure out where the best volume, you know, they're trying to work out the best point to get maximize money. You know, you go too high, they don't sell enough. They find where that sweet spot is where they sell enough ships but make enough money as well. So
yeah, like the steel was an absolute steal.
That was insane.
That was an insane, moronic, stupid, idiotic price grab. It is the one ship that I have refused to buy.
Yeah.
And if I do upgrade packs and to consolidate, then it'll probably end up that I do end up getting one.
Just turn it in game,
but only because it's stuck in the pack. But it's one of those, it's absolute.
Alright, Algared, have you flown this yet?
No.
Alright, you can fly and I'll get in the turret, alright? Just so, because I've already flown it earlier on stream, so people saw that. And that way if we die, we can all have a laugh at you. No, just kidding. That's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to know what you think.
I know you were saying earlier that it looked at definitely stuff X-Wing.
Oh yeah. 100% X-Wing. While we're on the ground though, I was showing you component stuff. This actually does have a lot of component stuff on it, like a lot.
But when it's on the ground, it does really just from the rear have the vibes of an Aurora.
So if you get under Algared, there is like access points bloody everywhere. It does have a storage one too here. I believe this is There is storage on it.
Jump drive.
I'm just gonna remember where it is. Is it this one? Nope. There is a storage, and it has a left and right storage. Maybe this is it. There it is. All right. So there's a left and right storage, and there is a gun rack up the front. I'm just gonna remember where it was. Someone in chat screaming, "Over there, you idiot!"
Yep. Fortunately, we can't hear
There's
them.
the gun rack. There's the gun rack. And what's this one? Come on, open.
Your guns, nice.
There is
That's
another
cool.
component. So it just has all these components that just drop down from everywhere. Yeah.
Your insides are showing.
Yeah. So it's it's a little different, but
It's just like sitting there in your pants, mate.
you'll notice like this
I don't want to talk about it.
this ship and the Mule, like they're all having the components going now. Like they said the Terrapin's gonna be the test bed. I think the Terrapin's miles behind where these guys are. So I don't think the Terrapin's the test bed anymore.
We did see the Terrapin have them a lot earlier than everything else.
We just saw the doors. Now there's actual components though in a lot of the ships. So yeah. One thing they did add from concept I noticed on this is it now has missiles down the bottom and up the top. There you go. So they actually added, they doubled the number of missiles it has. So yeah, Algared, when you're ready, I'll get in after you.
I'm just closing up finding the doors to some of these component hatches you've still got open.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
I'll close up the ship. No worries. Do the things you should have done. But I'll do the flight check. So,
So,
how's
yeah.
the... Oh, there's the Octopus.
Yep. I'm aboard when you're ready to leave. You only get one MFD as a pilot, as a gunner.
Okay, so working through the questions then, Sandgroper WA6000 says, so this is the spaceship-based boarding ship. I'm guessing it's needed as a Squadron 42 asset, question mark.
Yeah, I had a
Which
few
is
people...
Scorpius?
No, he's talking about the Legionnaire. I've had a few people say, oh, maybe it's a replacement for the Valkyrie in Squadron 42, and I think
wouldn't
it's...
say...
I think potentially it could be, but where Squadron 42 is now, they're in polishing. They mentioned that this ship is in concept. No, like Squadron 42 as a whole is kind of done. It's all in the polishing stage. So I'd say that this is complete just concept.
Yeah, I think you might be right for later episodes. I get the impression from the first, everything we've seen in terms of trailers, like the snippets of voice, that Squadron 42 is very much the UEE on the defensive, falling back, getting kicked around the houses by the Vanduul. So maybe later on, I mean, that would be really cool, wouldn't it? A mission to go aboard a Vanduul ship and plant charges or steal it or get prisoners back or whatever. That would be pretty ninja, but
Algared, landing gear.
I don't think I'd see this as a... Sorry?
Landing gear.
I don't think I'd see this as a replacement for the Valkyrie, but in terms of a Legionnaire, but I do think I could see a replacement for the Hoplite. And I think it's a much better pairing for the Javelin than the Hoplite.
Yes.
So where are we going next?
Wherever you want, man. You're flying us. Can we grab a mission? Actually, let me have a look. See if we can find just a little mission. It is PTU, so it'll be a low level one. Because I haven't grabbed one. Sharing it with you now. And make sure you pick up call to arms from that one. Yeah, there we go.
So Drastic Fire asks, do you think the Prowler will get a rework, seeing as its lore more so lines up with being a sneaky stealth boarding craft?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things with the Prowler we haven't seen, like the air shields, the whole hover thing that it's got going. Haven't seen that. So yeah, it's not a rework. It's just added shit to it. I need to say this while I'm thinking about it too. This is again about the Scorpius. I haven't talked with you, Badges, but I talked with a couple of other military guys, and I'm specifically talking about SA here. He reckons that whole turret go back thing is just, it's stupid. It's a gimmick. What's your take on the whole turret to the back thing?
Yeah, I think it's, in terms of utility, it's clearly more limited than, say, the Super Hornet or the Hurricane.
For the marker.
I want to be able to be in this and go between, but there's no button, and as soon as I hold F, it takes me back out. It'd be really cool if they. Oh, there goes my camera. It'd be really cool if they did have a button so you go between the two.
Yes, yeah, I think they definitely need to add that. Unless there's some issue with the positioning of the camera inside the turret. But it doesn't seem to, because you can get the end of it moving, so yeah, maybe it's just a...
Algared, can you fire...
TM?
Algared, can you fire your guns for me?
Yeah, I was just trying to get our target. So I wasn't actually firing, I was trying to find where we've got to go, because I'm not getting the marker.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to fire at the same time so we can see what the bullets are like, that's all. So let me know when you're ready to fire.
Ready to fire.
Wait, I can't fire in that camera? Are you serious? Oh, wow. You can only fire when you're in the turret. That's annoying.
Well, I don't have any guns, apparently. Nope, I'm not getting any guns. Oh, no, there they are. Nope, that's you.
That's me.
So I'm getting nothing.
Have you... I don't know, Algared. It just worked when I pressed the button.
Yeah, I pressed the button and I don't get anything. I'm checking the systems. Weapons on. Weapons are on.
So just turn it. So press U and I to turn everything off, and then press R to turn everything back on. Right, and then R.
Just while we are sorting out the technical issues with the Scorpius, it looks like, if you haven't already noticed in chat,
that was a missile.
Live
that means you're in missile.
now.
That means you're in missile mode. So you need to get out of missile mode, which I've forgotten the button. It's the middle mouse. Middle mouse, isn't it?
Click middle mouse, yeah.
Yeah, you've clicked middle mouse, Algared. Now, so click middle mouse. Just click it.
Yeah.
Don't hold it. Just click it, and then you should be able to press mouse 1, and it will fire. There we go.
Okay.
So can you do that again?
I wasn't getting anything before.
Can you do that again? Just fire again for me. That's a lot of bullets.
That's a lot of bullets firing at a target.
It's like 2 hurricanes.
I'll do your sound effects, boys. All right.
All right.
Get wrecked. Okay.
All right, Algared. Let's go to the mission. Let's go stuff somewhere.
Okay, I've been looking for it, but I don't have a marker for it.
All right.
Showing.
Stop dead then. Just stop. Stop dead. Dead stop. Are we dead?
Yeah, we're dead.
All right, get out of the ship and we'll swap spots. Because I've got a marker.
Machine.
Right.
Machine. Best job I ever had. Says. Were beds mentioned in the brochure for the Legionnaire? Otherwise, I don't see it in the same category as a Vanguard size 5 aside.
Yeah, there was no beds. It's clearly
No
a
beds.
short. It's clearly a fleet to ship.
Yeah.
Ace Hambone's asking a really good question, which is, when you just blow the Legionnaire up, I assume this is in response to something you were talking about at the time, without question, it has bad news written all over it. Do you know what? Thank you, Ace Hambone. I've just figured out what I'm calling my Legionnaire.
What, Ace Hambone? What are you calling it?
No, bad news.
Bad news coming.
Yeah. Bad news, or I mean, you could go for knock knock.
Yeah, that was my name. Yeah, I was gonna say that I was gonna go.
Where's the access point for the turret?
It's
on the stream deck. I need what's his name? Jim Carrey from
Hang on,
Kick-Ass 2.
It's the canopy, dude. Just go to the canopy and hold F, and it'll say in a pilot, in a gunner, on the canopy, on the cockpit, Algared.
Yep.
You're miles away.
Yep. I've got to reposition myself. Base does that to you.
That's the other one. I'd want that voice line from Jim Carrey in Kick-Ass 2, where he bangs on the door of the gangsters. Jehovah's Witness. Can't escape them even in space. Yeah. Arjon, do you know, Arjon's asking a really good question, Algared, and this one's all down to you, my friend. The real question is, does Algared have a Legionnaire?
Not yet.
Not
Will
yet.
Algared get a Legionnaire? Most probably. Because I do like it. I think, as I said, I think it's much better than a hoplite.
Yeah. Feathers McGraw asks, can the Legionnaire board another Legionnaire?
Why not?
Technically,
Absolutely.
Well, it'll be an EVA boarding.
Fight. Yeah.
Landing gear deployed.
What
the hell? Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear raised. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Looking for the buttons to get the guns working.
Hold F, and you want to go into enter turret. Apparently, according to someone, you can press W and S to move the turret while you're in it. Are you in the turret?
I am.
Right, can you fire? I want to make sure you've got it all working. You're firing backwards. You're in the backwards position. You need to change it, Algared. We're about to go into combat.
How do I change it?
So press F to go back out,
Yep.
And
And then
it should say retract, I think.
and then it says to retract.
Retract.
Yeah, you need to be quick though, because we've
Okay.
got company. Tell me when you're in the right position. Yep, he's moving back. Yep, cool. Now go back into it and fire when you're ready, because I'm taking shots while I wait for you. Are you ready?
Yep.
Start firing.
Delete.
Alright, I'm just going to take this ship out because I don't think Algared can...
Well, I'm trying to target the target because it's not there. You know, it's racing all over the place.
Yep, you're in the wrong mode. Again, QRBX. Whoa, there's an asteroid there.
Holy
Where
moly.
are you, little pecker? There you are.
I'm not even flying, I'm just like, I'm a turret. Alright, well let Algared take it out.
If I can target the rotten fecker.
You got him. Good job.
He was a fast little bugger.
Mm.
We'll get panthers. I like panthers.
Okie dokie. So, have you both seen the video of the Scorpius flying around the Bengal from PTU?
No.
No. Okay, so that question's kind of...
Just tell us, what was the question?
So it said, after seeing the video of Tirada on Reddit, what ship would you like to see in game that could give the public a video? Let's start that again. After seeing the video of Tirada, what ship would you like to see in game that could give the public a similar view of the game? He basically did a video of the Scorpius versus the Bengal, and he's like, "Haha, the Bengal can't hit me." And you know, showing off the scale of it and stuff.
AI versus players. I think it'll be a totally different kettle of fish when you're up actually against players.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the AI is not at that point yet where it's that great either.
And I think when they're using
Now versus then,
different
yeah.
ammo types,
Mm.
you know, you're not going to, if you've got fighters incoming and you're not going to have your main guns or your guns firing normal shells, I imagine you'd be using shotgun shells or anti-8, you know.
Flak and
Burst
area
shells,
control,
flak
poison
shells, so-
clouds, a whole bunch of different things.
So I don't think it's a fair cop to say, oh, the capital ship can't hit me.
And that's the biggest
the
problem
capital ship will use
between
different methods.
that's the biggest problem between streamers. A lot of streamers play the game for the now, and they can't see the future at all. That's one of the biggest issues I have.
Well,
Yep. And we know that, the thing is, we know that there are going to be different shell types. They've told us there are going to be different shell types.
Yes.
They've told us there's going to be AA and flak. So, in terms of shells. So,
Target Algared. Oh, there was, and then it disappeared.
you know, I saw it pop
There
for
he
a
is.
little bit. Targeted.
Marking as one. Just let us do this first. Hold on.
Targeted.
Yep. We are not quite in range. We are.
Last one.
Shields damaged. Enemy down.
Crazy. Right hands, this thing's gonna be deadly.
I have a feeling it might be. It feels like it's going to be more deadly than the Hurricane.
It is because so you've got 4 size 3s as opposed to 2 size 4s. That's the big difference. And it's only the pilot guns that change. The turret on top that you have is basically a Hurricane turret. There's no difference.
But the fact that you'd more or less try and keep your turret facing forward, just to work with your pilot.
I think there's a lot more teamwork between the Hurricane pilot and turret. Where when I'm in this, I'm just shooting. I'm the pilot. I'm just ignoring you completely. If you shoot anything, good luck. You know, like I much kind of prefer that teamwork thing with the Hurricane, but
and I think that's one of the things I like. Like with the Hurricane, it really is the pilot's job. The pilot's key job is not to try and shoot anything. His job is just to help keep a gunner on target. Whereas this is
instead of that Tirada video, I would much rather see someone do a video the Hurricane versus the Scorpius in a combat fight. I think that would be way more realistic for the now as well as the then.
Yeah, I mean, I get the impression that. Apologies, I'm just going to have to go check your name again. I get Etza. It's Oetza. I get the feeling what Etza's asking is more those that aren't part of the community, where a comparison between two turreted fighters might not have the same effect as, seeing something, because seeing the Bengal game was like, it's not big, and then you fly in coast is like, holy cow,
if you
that's
fly,
massive.
you look at you see the Bengal game by itself, and you go, yeah, whatever. But you fly a ship like the Scorpius or an Aurora up against it, and it dwarfs it. I can remember the Javelin when it was docked, in PTU, and taking one of a multi-crew ships that I had, just not a massive one, but a small, up against it, and it dwarfed I think it dwarfed the Connie. It made the Connie look minuscule. And it's when you get that, you've got this ship where, hey, I'm walking around in it, I've got 3 or 4 mates, and it's a big ship, and then you walk in, you put it up against something like the Javelin, and it's like, holy crap, that's huge. And then you put your ship up against the guns, and it's like the guns are the size of the ship itself. Or you get out and you're EVAing next to the guns, and the guns are like, the barrel of a gun is bigger than your head. It's like, this is huge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Any more questions?
Yes. Machine, best job I ever had, asks, will heavy armor be enough to survive at least until the boarding crew is on the enemy ship, to also attack an Idris from the inside?
Do you know, I'm thinking
in
of
reference to the Legionnaire.
I'm thinking of what Essay said yesterday, where he was like hoping and dreaming that this held a Titan suit, like so he could board a Titan suit. Like, yeah, that'd be mad. But no.
I think I think the answer there really comes to what we were saying earlier. But it's not a ship to take into combat.
Yeah.
The armor's there if you need it. But if you're taking this ship into the Legionnaire into combat, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Well, I think he means in terms of, kind of when you think of the cover that turrets have. In terms of getting on an Idris, or docking on the side of the Javelin, staring down the size of all those whopping great turrets.
It does have a blind spot though. The whole bottom of the ship has no cover.
No, but in terms of just is it going to be enough to survive? I think between the 3 shield gens and the armor. The element, it's not so much stealth, so I'm not suggesting that it's the stealth side, it's just the element of surprise. If you're going in through something that's fully expecting you, then I would expect any sort of boarding ship like this to get knocked out of the sky. Because, any semi-decent crew should be prioritizing things like torps, boarding ships, anything that can carry torps, those sorts of anti-capital ship things, or anti-big ship things. But yeah, the element of surprise, catching a fleet unawares, is not the same as stealth. The element of surprise is not the same as stealth. So I think that's going to be the key for the Legionnaire, is getting in when you're not expected, and then getting out again.
And when you look at the Prowler's history and the way in which Tavaran used their boarding ships, they would do it when they knew, I know you're coming, I know you're there, and they would stealth in. They would insert 2 or 3 people to do sabotage and wreck systems on the ship.
Yes.
That's different from, as Badgers is, and correct me if I've misheard you, Badgers, but that's totally different from, I'm standing there, I'm not expecting, like you see in the video, they from ISC, you got the ship there, the guy thinks, hey, there's something on, he goes and checks it out, but They're not really expecting any danger. They're just coming in. It comes in. It docks. Forces are docking, and it's when that happens. It's hang on, someone's docking with us. What the? Better go check. But that's totally different from the Prowler situation where I drop the troops off, they get in, and no one knows we've got in. That's totally different.
Because my argument to kind of just thinking there, Algared, and I think I'm agreeing with you, is they'd see you coming. There's no stealth element to this ship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that goes into that whole argument of why it needs a heavy armor, why it need, but it's not the ship to go into combat. You're not using this ship to disable the ship you're boarding. You're using your javelin or the escort ships to disable it. And I say the javelin because I really do think the Legionnaire is going to be best paired with a javelin in its hangar.
I tell you where I see the Legionnaire absolutely excelling is versus Krakens and stuff like that, because of the match between the number of boarders that the Legionnaire is going to deploy and the number of crew of the Kraken. Like, the Kraken has 2 more crew if it's fully crewed than a full Legionnaire.
Yeah, but I don't even have to board the Kraken. I can actually just land on, force a landing on the landing pads and just offload my troops.
Yes, yeah, potentially. I think the other thing of remembering about the Legionnaire is the point at which you deploy it in combat, right? Yep. So I think your Prowler is going to be your first strike weapon.
Yeah.
So
you're going with the Prowler first.
Exactly. You target which ship is going to be most difficult for your fleet.
Algared, come.
And you reduce the efficiency of that ship by saying, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take crew away from its other functions to defend the ship. The Legionnaire looks like it's going to be much more effectively employed in the dying stages of combat, where maybe you want to take a ship as a prize. You're trying to achieve something other than just a fleet or a battle win. You're trying to, maybe there's cargo you're after, maybe there's a prisoner that you're trying to get back. Whatever that is, that's where the Legionnaire is going to be deployed. It's not just a straight up, oh, we'll bring a Legionnaire to this fleet fight. It's right, we need to get onto that ship, therefore I'm going to have a Legionnaire or a couple of them deployed. That's the way I would see it anyway. Happy to be corrected, as always.
Makes sense to me. I think we'll head down to Horizon, Algared, and just have a look around.
Yep.
Unless you can think of something better.
No, that sounds fine.
Because there is some new stuff down there.
And I'm sure that Drinkus has another question for us.
Yes. Although I will make one observation. Nightbot is being scatty in the way it approaches things. So if you say the black in terms of the cutlass back, it gets all upset. Jedi Drifter says, I just might want to be bad. I will board through gaping holes. Nightbot, not a glimmer. Nightbot gives 0 Fs about your question there, Jedi Drifter. You can be as rude as you like.
And some of the censorship actually comes from not just from Nightbot, but it comes from YouTube, and YouTube's a lot more PC. So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving swiftly on from Jedi Drifter and his gaping holes. Joseph Outamuro says, "How long will the servers be down today?" ? I didn't realise they were, but then again, I've been at work, so I've not tried.
Yeah, don't know.
Although it has been patched
they'd be going
now,
they'd be going live, wouldn't they? Someone said, didn't you say a minute ago that they've now gone live or something?
The patch has gone live. I'm literally just connecting now to see what happens. So if I suddenly lose a question, that's why. But I'll just see whether or not I can get to the point where it gives me a server to connect to. Okie dokie. Axis 0096 says, are they going to add a docking collar to the Mercury Star Runner still? ?
They've said they are.
Oh, did they?
That's what we can really go on.
No, they said they were adding another exit. I don't remember anything about a docking collar.
True.
Yes. Docking collar not confirmed, I think, is the answer to that.
Yes.
Yeah. So does that make the Star Runner the only ship that's got a real defense against the Legionnaire? Or is the Legionnaire going to just latch on and then use breaching charges to blow a gaping hole in the side of the ship?
That's actually interesting, like, because when you run that through, if there's no docking collar, how do you dock?
Yes.
Anyway.
Pity a constellation with so many docking collars. You can get 24 borders on your constellation. God help you if that happens. Self-destruct.
Why is it trying to put me on Australian servers? Weird. According to this, I can connect.
One of us.
One of us. Because really, you want to be one of us.
No, not so much. Okay, so I've already used the machine for the machine that's spelled MA5H1N3. So we've got a normally spelt machine in chat, so I can't use the Fury joke with you. But it says, does the Prowler shield block grenades and projectiles from being fired inside? If so, shouldn't the inside of the Legionnaire be protected similarly?
Isn't it one way, so they can go out but they can't come in? That's how I remember it.
Yeah, so the Prowler, I think they operate slightly differently. So the Prowler lands people on the hull. It doesn't have the same mechanism as the Legionnaire to force open an opening. The idea is that people that you are landing have the equipment to get inside, be that cutters, breaching charges, whatever.
Yep.
They have air shields, which means that people on the vessel can operate normally outside of their Atmo suits with the doors open, so effectively you step through the shield. That's an air thing. I don't know if it's stopping projectiles. I doubt it, because you're firing out of them. So that was the whole point, and that's why you've got the guys in the middle, and you're held in place facing outward. As the doors can open, you can fire from the inside of this thing. So I don't think so. In terms of how the Legionnaire will be protected inside, if you weren't here when we were talking about it, we were talking about how cool it would be to have some sort of deployable cover. But I get the impression that the Legionnaire is not designed to stay connected the whole time. That it would be far more effective to deploy your team on board and then disconnect, leave them to do their thing. And then go back and, because in terms of scooping them up, right, you don't need to be connected. They can just jump out of the airlock and EVA away.
And even if you do need to pick them up, once if the only time if they're successful, the opposition's been wiped out. If they were unsuccessful, you obviously boarded at the wrong time. So, and in that case, I think you would just jump out, But yeah,
I cannot find Orison. It's just like gone.
Orison has died.
I'm really
The rapture
confused.
happened.
Anyway.
I can't look, so
Yeah, it's so good.
Chat keep tempting my by talking about the passes, and I keep getting excited about it. Yeah.
I just like to see you fight over the passes.
SA and Nightbot are fighting continuously. Nightbot is winning. Which is quite good fun. Okie dokie. So, SA asks, with physical breaching being replaced with hacking, is cutting hulls, I guess, to enter a ship dead? If so, why? Development time, roadblocks, and tech.
No, I think it's very much, still much a thing. Probably just falls a bit more into the realm of salvage or brute forcing if you don't have a boarding ship.
Yes. Noting the fact... Sorry, go on.
They do talk about breaching charges, but I think that's more or less, in this case, with the Legionnaire talking about breaking into the ship, forcing the doors open in that sense. It raised the question, how do you board a Starfarer? Not a Starfarer, a Star Runner, because it doesn't have a docking collar. So I don't think it discounts it. I don't think it says it's off the table.
No.
But I think that was one of the things I think they talked about in the show a little bit. They talked about looking at different mechanisms of how they could get it to be a boarding ship. And in the end, they went with what was already working and in game because it made more sense. And so they've just given it a universal docking collar that can do the large and the medium, you know, and all the docking collars. And maybe that means down the track there'll be another one for breaching ships and blowing holes in the side of a hull, so you don't have to use those normal access points. It might be, though, they've decided for game balance, it's only going to be through those standard docking collars that we board ships. So I don't think it's off the table, but it could be that we are seeing a shift in the way they're thinking for game balance, or just the ability to have it done, or whatever else. So I'm not sure.
This thing does not like hydrogen inside the atmosphere.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, X?
You'll have to ask me the question again. I was multitasking. What was the question?
As I asked, with physical breaching being replaced with hacking, are cutting tools to enter a ship dead?
I can't answer.
So, why?
No, I did answer that. It's just more in the salvage vein, and I think more of that will come given time.
Yeah.
Gotta wait.
Essay again, straight into the next question, says, based on the Mule styling, was it Argo and then rebranded Drake? It looks Argo, and that explains the oversaturation of Drake all over the thing. The fact it plastered with logos.
Actually, I think it looked more like Grey Cat.
Argo.
If anything, I think it looked more Grey Cat.
Certainly from the the history of Grey Cat, it would certainly fit with that in terms of the lore. My thought was, when I first saw it, it looked like an Argo PTVU, a PTUV on wheels. But in terms of the lore, definitely Grey Cat, because they actually, you know, the PTV, the little golf cart, was originally made as a mine vehicle in lore. And heavily armoured, so that you know, with roll bars and all the rest of it to keep people alive. The Rock picked up on that type of idea, and I think your argument that it was very, very much a reskinned Rock initially was how you were feeling, kind of plays into that as well. But it really does, probably in more ways than one, appeal to that Grey Cat aesthetic. But either way, it's something that Drake have purloined.
Might even come up with cinematic.
Well, you know, it gives lore more stories to tell of the.
Well,
you know, was this goldfish? Remember,
there is a cinematic for the Mule.
Remember the lore pieces where you had the arguments over the goldfish, you know, and being stolen and all the rest of it. And was this Drake stealing?
No, I don't.
Other people's intellectual material? Who knows? But I suppose also, if you look at tractors and you look, you know, in our modern world, you know, a John Deere tractor looks very similar to a Cat tractor. You know, there's only so much styling you can do on a tractor to make, you know. So it looks similar because it's a utility vehicle.
You can't polish a turd, but you can in fact roll it in glitter.
Oh, there you go.
Right. So Rasuj says, what starter packages do you think will be on sale during Invictus?
All of them.
Landing gear deployed.
They're always on sale.
Boom.
Maybe not the Pisces. Actually, that's something we haven't talked about. The Pisces C8R was found in the files too. So, and when I brought this up with Algared,
that's an interesting one.
I went straight back to the original concept. It had they had a grey box. In the grey box, they had a scanning station. I reckon that's probably what it is. It's just the scanning variant.
It's the radar.
Yeah, radar or research or whatever. Because when Algared and I very first started speculating about the Pisces, we were like, well, that's the wormhole ship that goes through the smaller jump points that the carrot can't go through, because you got to, you got to navigate them. This is back when ships didn't all just have jump drives and quantum drives, but it was a snub with a jump drive but no quantum, so it could go through the jump point, but then had to turn around and come back to get back on the mothership. It still needs that scanner, even though the Pisces now does have a jump drive and a quantum drive. They need a way to scan wormholes, and we don't have that currently. So, to me, it makes a lot of sense.
Certainly for the small ones, yeah. Oh, look. Emergency hospital exit access point. That's new. Oh, because we're at the hospital. Oh no, we're in the hangar. But that means we could actually take a trolley and put it on a black.
So Algared, I just want to point out something. This is a small hangar that is 2 metrics, right? And they're saying things like, how the Odyssey had a very deep hangar, and the Polaris is going to have this as well. I think you can clearly say at 10 meters, it'll fit on a small pad, the Legionnaire. Sorry.
Yeah. For the Odyssey, I've got no question about the Odyssey and the Polaris, because they're the vertical takeoff hangars.
You're talking about the Idris.
But it's the Idris that's the question, because of the way the Idris flies through. So
I still think it'll fit.
That's the only question in terms of height.
How much lower is it? Do you know? I think it is about this high, isn't it?
The Idris hangar? I don't know. I know that the vertical hangars are totally different from from other ships. I know there are other ships that they've said won't fit in the... You maggot.
It wasn't me, it was the door.
I even ran.
I haven't even left. It was just a door.
You're a good guy.
It was a door automatic.
You're a good guy. Yeah. I thought you were closing the door because I was walking.
Nope.
Because that'd be a you thing to do.
No, would it now? Would it now?
I know how much you love me walking.
Would not be me at all, but okay, yeah, sure.
I know how much you love it when I walk.
Yeah.
Strange things, X.
Yeah, I restarted it.
Okay, cool.
Scorpius.
Happy days. So, Alexander Dooley, yes, mate, we absolutely missed that. He said, did you miss the 5 times? I said, there are 2 more doors on the Mule you missed under the racks. So where you put the little delivery boxes on either side, apparently there are doors under those racks that you could go and have a look at.
Can we get a follow-up question? What do they contain?
Yes.
So yeah, can you let us know if you're still here? Who was the person that asked that question?
Dooley.
You're right. Badges? Who
that was Alexander Dooley.
So Alexander Dooley, if you can follow up and let us know what is actually in them, that'd be great. I'll have a look after stream, but I'm not heading all the way back into Daymar again today. But yeah. Where am I going?
Cool. So there are definitely doors under there, though, so that's cool. Okay, Drastic Fire. Do you think CIG will rework the Prowler? To apologise, we've just kind of had that. So yes, there's more work to come on the Prowler. Yeah. Machine asks, will a rock with a tractor beam become a Mule competitor? Is the 315p the better Mule?
What? It's a ship versus a vehicle, 315p versus a Mule, so
because
no
the 315p
contest.
has the size 3 tractor beam.
Yeah, I know, but no contest. And the rock has a mining laser, not a tractor beam. So, but I can definitely see a rock and a Mule working very well together, especially out of a Cutlass, because you can take them like both down into caves, and then just mine the arse out of the cave into the back of the Mule, and then come home.
The next shuttle is approaching.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd say it definitely replaces, because it again, just as you said, it's doing those different roles.
No.
The 315p would be more likely a competitor to the Argo in terms of its offloading and unloading in space. But then the question is the size of the ship versus and the maneuverability of the ship. But in terms of loading on land, the Mule is the only ship we've got with that fork drive type type approach, and that turning circle means loading and offloading is going to be so much easier.
Let me check
if you're on
this.
the moon and you have to load up.
Let me check this out here then. Do you think it's the last cargo vehicle we'll see?
You mean utility vehicle?
Oh, I just mean cargo, because it really is just a cargo loader, isn't it? It's a it can carry 2 SCU of cargo. Because here's the other thing: the Temple Cyclone carries an SCU of cargo. You know?
For passengers. The shuttle is
But it can't actually load it in the same way as a forklift.
No, but you can get the. They'll both use the tractor beam guns. You'll just.
Ah, yes.
You know? So, as soon as there's a small vehicle, as Aaron said, very, very small.
Yeah.
Single. You know, carries 2 SC of cargo. I think it's its size combined with, like, for example, I think you can get a Cyclone in the back of a Cutlass, but you can't get a Cyclone and a Rock. Well, someone will debate me on that, but you're not meant to, you know what I mean? Because of the way that they're shaped, you probably could get them in. Someone's probably correcting me in chat right now saying, yeah, I've done it, I can get 14 in there. Whether you're meant to is another question.
I get the feeling that the that the big difference is not necessarily whether the ship can do it.
Yeah.
But the question is how smooth that turning circle is, and that's the thing with the Mule. That turning circle on the Mule, it can turn on the spot. That is, no other vehicle we've got can do that, and that makes it quite unique. So
yeah, it does handle very, very well. It drives better than the Rock. It drives. I'm going to go out there and say it drives better than almost any of the other vehicles I've seen. Like it doesn't have a top speed, but it's a cargo thing, so it doesn't really need it. But just the handling, like if you were looking at sliders, its handling's like 100%. It's quite good.
And then you compare it to the closed vehicles we've got. We've got the only closed vehicles we've got are the G12, which are
one moment. Cloud City, this is 100%. Look at that. Same shape and everything. Just wanted to point that out because, like, that's such a rip of Cloud City. Sorry, Algared. Please continue.
Yep. So, the ships that are in closed canopy, you know, we've got the Ursa, we've got the Mule, we've got the G12.
Yep.
Every other vehicle is basically open atmosphere. You know, in those small scales, we've got the Spartan and the Ballista, but they're big attack vessels. But in that small scale, you know, the Rock's open, the Bikes are open, the you know, so that I find makes it quite unique, especially as a utility ship, because it does mean you're going to be able to load and offload vehicles when the cargo refractor comes in, using that vehicle on a moon.
I think
over time.
I think that kind of really shows you, though, a lot of those vehicles are going to have competitors. There will be a closed cab mining vehicle and stuff like that down the road. Maybe they're slightly larger, so they can't quite fit in the same space, etc., etc. But yeah.
Man, I could see a Mule version of a mining vehicle. Because that turning circle on that Mule, that makes it so versatile. It makes it able to get in those tight spaces so much easier.
And they've got a lot of use out of this statue. They've used it at like 4 Invictuses now. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it's become the image of Invictus, you know, the helping hand.
Yeah. I travelled all the way over here to see if I can get into the expo, but there is no expo hall. It's been turned off. So.
No, they usually turn it off, remember, until the day.
Well, this is PTU, so I was hoping it might still be cycling. So yeah, I am very keen to see the C8R. If there, a couple of things that are going to annoy me though. If I can't get an expedition skin for it so it matches my Carrack, or are they going to make it so when you buy the Pisces as an upgrade kit that gives another skin to the Carrack? I'm expecting that. So I'm expecting some kind of C8R, whatever that is. Let's research radar, whatever. But then there'll be a C8. No, sorry, a Carrack So it's called research.
A character with a new window, a new glass window. That's
So
right.
I'm a matching. What I'm saying is I'm matching named skin. So you know how they're both expedition.
Yep.
So let's just say it's research or radar or whatever. There's a skin for both of them, so they match. Because I wanted them matching, and now it looks like they've kind of screwed me around.
Yeah, well, they still didn't fix the Ursa.
Yeah.
So we still don't have an Ursa to
Well,
match.
that is technically RSI, so I can kind of let that slide. I've kind of got used to that over time, so yeah.
So, what skin color do you think they'd do for it? A research ship? Star Trek blue?
There is also the blue and gold for the Pisces. That's been shown as well. So I don't know. What about you? You want to say some badges?
Yeah, sorry. I'm actually going to say that I'm going to have to leave you here. So what I'm going to do, Algared, if I'm just going to pop a react where we're up to on the questions. That's the next question you need to ask. So it's got the X react. So the next question will be from Mr. Pliskin. But yeah, and he asks, so I'll kick you off while you guys are doing that, but that's where we're up to.
I've got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
It's been lovely talking with you guys. Thank you very much for chat. It's been awesome watching Nightbot beat SA over the head repeatedly. Enjoy, and I shall catch you hopefully over the weekend.
See you, bud.
Hope so.
Cheers,
All right,
fellas.
so Mr. Pliskin says, or asks, foes the Legionnaire live up to the ancient Roman title? I think you're asking, so it's a typo. Does the Legionnaire live up to the ancient Roman title of the Legionnaire? No. I don't think it, because a Legionnaire was just a single fighter. This is not.
Yeah,
a
but
fighter.
they used
This is
to. So one of the things SA was wondering was if there was a way for them to link shields and kind of push forward, because the Legionnaires used to lock shields and make a shield wall and march forward.
The turtles.
Yeah.
The turtle.
But
I or whatever they called it.
I don't think that is a thing though. All the shots kind of show it solo doing its own thing. So yeah.
Yeah. I think if you're taking it as a view of it's the tortoise type construction where they're moving forward to get to the breach so they can breach, then yeah, you could do that. I come back to the point that I made earlier that to me it does look like the front half looks like a terrapin, which is heavily armored, and the back half looks like it's naked and it's got its pants down. But yeah, my gut feeling is, my initial thought was, they're just using the RSI name again. It would have been nice for them to think of something else, but I have no idea what they could have called it. But yeah, Crown 8 or Crown the 8th says, is the Legionnaire another false delivery of a system hidden in a ship, or is this going to be the Z1 hacking introduction?
Does he mean tier 1 hacking?
Well, this version 0 is basically, of hacking, so it's just the fact of overriding that request for docking. Is that going to be the tier 1 or the tier 0, the introductory hacking mechanism of e-warfare type stuff, or is it going to be a system that's not here yet, that's just hidden and therefore not delivered?
Yeah.
I think is what he's asking.
No. I would much expect to see hacking on almost any other ship before this one. This is one of those, like, it's at concept. Like, though we said that this could be out by the end of the year, it won't be here with hacking.
And I think. So go on.
No, I wasn't going to say that. It's all good.
And I was going to say that I think that the hacking aspect of this is really specific. It is only looking at the docking aspect. So, and given that's in game, I don't think it's necessarily a hack, rather than a just an override of missions and then granting them permission. So it's not as big a hacking situation. So I don't think it's going to be an issue of the gameplay not being there for it when they do actually include it. I could be wrong, but yeah. Meet Your Maker has a question. They said they just accidentally push 317 to live. No, we're actually in the PTU.
Yeah. And we have been for the last 2.5 hours. So.
Without it crashing.
Yeah. But I've always found that the later patches of the PTU run way better than live anyway, because they just got more bandwidth to servers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're usually a lot smoother and nicer and and that as well. So yeah. Steps TV has a question. Did you try S to move the turret while you were in it? No, I didn't.
No. So apparently
I did try the W and
it didn't work. No.
No, I used the W and that worked for moving left and right. So yep, the left and right worked.
Well, apparently, according to someone, when you're in the turret, if you press W or S, it'll go backwards and forwards between the front and back. But no, I can't confirm that because I haven't tried it myself.
Yep.
If I could be bothered going back...
Maybe that's why I went into reverse mode, because I did try that.
Don't know. I guess I could try, like, I could reclaim it up here at the station and try it. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll try it later and let you know.
I just want to point out I am rapidly falling fast. I can feel sleep coming because I didn't have enough. So just letting you know.
Yep. Execute did say right at the beginning today, even before we started streaming. Oh man, I'm wrecked. I went to bed wrong time. I'm trying to get I went to bed.
I went to bed about 2 a.m. and the ironically funny thing is I've got to be up at 3 a.m. tomorrow. So that's how out of whack my clock is. Like I've somehow got to force it to be. Still don't know how I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to wake up, be absolutely exhausted, and then go to bed, and then it'll force it into whack over the next few days. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So our next question from the K9 Music asks, do you folks think that the Argo Mule, was first? Do we feel that the Argo Mule was first? It doesn't quite feel. I am assuming you're saying it doesn't quite feel great. I think we've kind of discussed that question.
I think at this point you can almost, like, we've seen so many things where they can almost bend any ship or vehicle to go, oh, it's the first vehicle from this company, so that's why it looks different or whatever, you know. I argue. Let me put it this way. You know when Samsung and Apple took each other to court over the way tablets look? There's only a certain number of ways you can build a one-person cab
utility vehicle.
Yeah, like there's not like it looks like a ride-on lawnmower, but then again, so does the Rock. So
it's like what I was saying before about tractors. You know, a John Deere tractor looks very similar to a Cat tractor. One might be green, one might be orange, but generally they're the same. So yes, my first look was, it looks like an Argo. Execute's thought was it looks more like Grey Cat. Personally, I think it fits better for being closer to Grey Cat, but at the end of the day, it's a utility vehicle. It's got a forklift and storage for an SCU of cargo.
Because Grey Cat,
what else?
Well, the Grey Cat make the multi-tool, and they make basically vehicles, don't they? At the moment, that's all we've got. And I always just thought they were the golf buggy type size ship vehicle manufacturer. But
and the history of a golf cart, like while the PTV was made originally for us to be able to drive around our massive hangars back in the day, the purpose of the lore of a golf cart is that the guy had felt guilty over designs that had caused accidents in mines, and so he started to over-engineer, and he created a little PTV to move around the mines and those distances. And he had the roll cab in it to make it safe. And when they were after a civilian vehicle, they kind of reduced the roll cages and made it into the golf cart. But the original design was this safe, dirty mining transport vehicle to move around the mine. So
I do want to. You just triggered something in my head. I do want to point out the last of those 3 vehicles in column B does look very grey cat, and it looks like a buggy, like a Cyclone competitor. Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I can pull it out. Give me a minute.
May as well pull it up because I'm certain some of our viewers don't recall that.
Let's have a look.
Some of our viewers may not have been there to see that. So,
image.
Jedi Drifter, I don't think more coffee will help execute. It would certainly help me, but
I don't drink coffee either, so that's not going to work.
There you go. He needs more tea. But it's execute one of these poor suckers who suffer from insomnia, and so his sleep patterns are always all over the shop. And so
it's kind of why
I don't envy him.
That's why I can't work. I've got a really bad thing. All right, so this is the we're talking about B here. Obviously, we've had A and C come out. So this was the hover vehicle. This was the Odyssey. This is the Star Bomber that we're waiting for. We're not sure which manufacturer, because this top one looks RSI, this one looks Crusader, and the bottom one looks Aegis. So again, and you might get one bomber, and then there's they use the same style for another ship. But if you look here, we obviously had the Spartan last October and November, and this is clearly the Mule, like it's a dead ringer. But this one
here, ringer to the Mule.
Yeah, this one here, a bigger Grey Cat buggy that's a competitor to the Cyclone, and I can see that. Are there any benefits to it? You tell me, Algared, because I can't see a benefit to a Cyclone competitor at this stage, other than the closed cab that the G12 has. So I'm really kind of lost, and my camera's there. It goes.
And the only thing I could see for that buggy, because it's a 2-seat buggy, just like the Grey Cat buggy is, the only advantage would be it's got cargo.
Yeah.
So
it does kind of
it
does kind of look like it, and I'm grasping at straws here, but I can't even zoom in on it. Hold on. So if you zoom in, see how it's kind of got like some kind of back flap there on the back?
Yeah, it almost looks like it's got a spare tire or
or an extra seat or something like that. I just don't see the benefit. Especially when you got the G12 already as a competitor. Like, I almost think that space is a little tight. Especially when there's other ships that can come out and stuff beforehand. So yeah, that's a tough one for me.
I could see them bringing something like that out just as another vehicle, just
as what, sorry? Oh, Algared, I've lost your audio. Oh, don't tell me I kicked my speaker out.
And the G12s.
Oh, no, it's just lag. Thank God. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get under the table in the middle of a stream.
Oh no, that'd be horrid.
Yeah. So yeah. Maybe we might see this. I just don't see the reasoning for it. I really think this is probably the last one left, to be honest with you. But the other thing that I will point out is, notice how all the other ones similar, and D similar, but B, they are all radically different. So we may end up seeing that yet. So yeah.
So
go ahead.
Moving on.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick. The other thing I wanted to point out, and I did say this to you right at the start of, actually when I got back with my tea before we started.
Yeah.
And that was, we have a small vehicle, which is the Mule.
Yeah.
We have a medium ship, which is the Legionnaire. But we also have Alien Week, that's a week after Invictus, and no big ship. So we might be getting a big alien ship. We'll have to wait and see. My camera is getting progressively worse, obviously.
So that's the interesting thing, and that's because actually raise that because normally we get medium, small, and large, or ships. We've got our small, we've got our vehicle, we've got our medium small ship, but where's our large or capital ship? And that's what's missing. And so it's an interesting question to ask there.
Yeah. So
we'll,
might be getting a larger alien. Not promising it, just speculating. It's just very common. You get small, medium, large type. Well, when I say small, medium, large, what I mean is 3 different price points. You get like $100 one, a $250 and then like a $350 So basically, depending on how much money you've got to spend, you've got something else to buy. And then you've also got massive whales that just buy everything.
Yeah, so we've got our vehicle at $20, $30 ship vehicle. We've got our $100 ship. What's our more expensive ship? And that's the question. Apart from the regular styles of things like Idrises and Javelins and Phoenixes and stuff, what's the new large ship? So pure speculation. We may have an alien ship coming, or there might be a ship we haven't yet heard of that's appearing in Invictus as well, so who knows. Moving on to our next question. Questa says, is there any chance of showing the video? As I think my question will be clearer. I'm not sure what your question was originally, Questa, but if you're referring to the ISC, I do believe if you go back to the beginning of the stream, we actually do go to first impressions of that.
Well, I don't know
what you're still watching.
Yeah, I don't know what your original
and I don't know what your question is. Yeah. So, if you're still watching, please chuck your question back into chat with a bit of clarity as to what you're asking, and because we have watched the video, we may be able to answer that for you.
All right. So this, I figured I might be able to do it here without going all the way over to Daymart. Now, apparently, you said there's components. You say under? Where did he say they were again?
Going to check those undercarriage sections.
Yeah.
He said under the bag holds. Yeah, in between the wheels looks like with module holds. Maybe. There.
There's no button.
Doesn't look like a button there.
Like, the buttons come up pretty easily.
We talked about, you showed those ones.
Yeah, but you just hold F and they come up. So when I'm down here, there's nothing.
Yep, can't see anything there. It looks like there's something there, but you can't see them.
Yeah. What crack you on again, mate? I don't know what you're talking about, mate. What are you talking about, mate? I don't understand.
Yep. So in terms of the extra components underneath those racks, we can't see them. So we'll have another look later and see if we can dig them up. Didn't Consolidated Outland already make one? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Trend, so if you want to qualify your answer a little bit more, we might be able to give that an answer a bit later.
So you need self-contained questions, guys, because we cannot track all the chat. It's just there was too many questions. So yeah, so if you ask a question, even if you've asked one previously, reword the whole thing.
Yeah, but make it so we can understand the answer.
I did find one.
Oh, you did? Where? Oh, there.
Crikey. Hey, that looks like a gun rack.
Or about to you. That's the
workbench.
I was thinking a storage container. So,
it almost feels like a workbench that you work on.
Yeah, or a suit rack, or.
Let's have a look at the one on the other side. That was a really hard to find button, though. By the way.
That was a really hard to find button.
And it's also not on this. Let me double check. It's about 3/4 of the way along. 3/4 of the way. It's not on this side.
No, it's on the other side. It's to your left, isn't it? Oh, to your right. Sorry.
Well, the other button's here on the other side. So what I'm trying to say is
it on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's a button to the other one.
Yeah, look. See, the button's here.
There.
So my whole point being is that rack is only on one side. It's not... It's textured here, but there's no button. See,
yeah, I thought there was a button more to your right, but I think that might be the one to the top one.
There's...
No, a bit more to the right.
Yeah, that's
that button at the end. That's the
the
one for those
hose.
modules, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
So,
So,
there's only the one
they
rack.
both have a unique. So this has the fuel port on one side,
Yep.
and that has whatever the hell that thing is on the other side. So man, it really does look like a workbench.
Yeah,
it
it does look like a little workbench, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Little
really does.
workbench or a
Repairing tools and stuff. That
or a
would be
jute
really
rack
cool.
or-
That'd be really cool if it could repair tools and stuff. Like my tractor beam is busted.
Yeah, go to the little workbench and pull out your parts and fix it up. But
What
yeah,
what if that is simply a rack to store a tractor beam gun?
well,
you just put
rack
it
to store
'cause
your.
Well, you know how you can place stuff? So you just place a gun on there and then close the rack and it just sits there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you know,
Hmm.
tractor. You know, your different utility items or your different weapons or things you want to use without needing to.
All right, thanks for that.
Oh,
Whoever,
okay, thanks, Brent.
I forgot who the gentleman was that
Yeah, I
shared
can't
that.
remember who said that
Yeah,
either.
thank
But
you for
thanks for
that.
pointing that out.
I
Because
never would
we
have
hadn't.
never
made
would
it.
have never would have found it without you because that's pretty hard to find.
Yep.
And the other ones, yeah.
Trent Wilson asked another question, which is unrelated to the one which I said, what's it about? I took that one just from chat. He said, could the Legionnaire be used for hostage rescue? Yeah. If you've already negated the support craft, so if you're looking at it for the 890 rescue mission, if the support ships of the pirates have been taken out, yeah, you could easily use that to board your crew and to board the vessel. You know, use the board through the side panels rather than anywhere else. So yeah, you could do it.
Almost looks like avionics racks or computer racks here, Algared, and that might be what comes out the top, but there's just no button at the moment. Like,
yeah, it might be because those components haven't been really worked. But so you did actually get up there, did you?
there's nothing to open, but just like it.
Yep.
When you look through there, roughly here you can see
yep.
computer racks. I'm just wondering if it just pops up the top here or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. This is just really different to anything. Like, it really looks like you can look. It's even got handlebars. It looks like something's pulled out of it.
It looks like it's something that's usually on the side wall of a ship, and it's just been slotted in there to fill in a gap. But it is a nice little vehicle. It's a nice compact.
And again, that does say
vehicle.
computer. Sorry. Then again, it does say computer.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So it is, as vehicles go, it's one of the nicest little vehicles we've got, and I think the fact that it's got that forklift, the fact that it can take one sea of cargo, the fact that it turns so niftily, does make this a vehicle that is going to be really useful. Certainly when cargo refactor comes in, I keep going back to the thought of, okay, you bought your cargo. How do we load that cargo onto our ships when we're down on the planets? And when cargo refactor comes in and we've got to start loading it or pay NPCs to do it and have a time factor, this is the type of vehicle that's going to be used to load our ships, because we can't use an Argo to load a ship that's on the ground. So something like this is what you're going to need. You're going to need Wally to do it. So yeah. Moving on.
It's just the right size too. Like you can.
Yep. And just that fact that it turns on a dime is just, that's what makes it so much better than any other vehicle we've got. So Jedi Drifter.
I think it's going to be popular. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Especially if they go into detail and tell you a lot of stuff about it. I think they'll sell even more.
Yeah. I think if they tie this more closely to cargo effect, which I'm thinking, it just, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's just.
Yep.
It is such an important. It's really filling in one of those really niche roles. It's giving us that. How many times have we asked for, and we talked about, it'd be really good if we had a forklift or a vehicle that could lift pallets or things or offload. We've talked about that dozens of times over the years.
I think I remember Space Tomorrow talking about it recently with what was it? There was a forklift in what was it? I can't remember what it was, but there was a forklift in one of the areas, and he was like, it was by Argo. It had Argo branding on it, and he was like, "What if this what if this is a forklift?" Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've even seen, we've even talked about them when we walked around the hangars and talked about the different things. So this is.
I made it. I didn't think I was gonna make.
Well done, you did.
I didn't think I was gonna make that gap, but I did.
Oh, you did. So yeah, I really agree with you. This is one of those ships that's get all vehicles that it's probably more useful than any other vehicle we've had so far.
Yeah. I think the raft will be up there too when that finally gets its full.
Yeah, and 100% agree.
What do you call it? Full
100% agree with you there. Yeah.
All right, Algared, I'm gonna start cutting questions off because I really want to get out of here in the next 6 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes. So yeah, if you guys got any more questions, don't. Because I want to get out of here. How many we got left, Algared?
Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. By the look of it.
Okay, rapid fire.
All right,
go for it.
Okay, so. Could you tell Jedi Drifter? Jedi Drifter says, could you tell Nightbot? All right, so Nightbot got questioned. He was referring to the Perseus as a boarding craft.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, you were referring to a boarding craft. Hey X, have you accepted that Vesindus is a ground miner yet?
Yeah. So what this guy's talking about?
That was from Silex.
Yeah. So there was a guy that was trying to argue with me in the comments of the video with CIG could do whatever they want, right? That standard line that we've heard before, Algared. And I was in a very bad mood, and it had been a very long day, and I just basically told it, shut the fuck up. That was almost what I said, but I was a bit more polite than that, but I was quite aggressive with him because I was just, I'm not having your shit at this moment. So you don't read very negative comments from me or very aggressive comments, but that was a very aggressive comment from me because I was just like, I am done with your stupidity. I don't like people going, hey, they could do this. They can do, yeah, they can. But you often find with logic, you can kind of go, right, they've made their own rules. They're working between these bounds. Yep. So that's the bounds that me and Algared and all the other Inforunners, when we do this stuff, work with between. And his whole argument was the Legionnaire could, or what was it, the Legionnaire? Sorry, what was the ship?
It was the
Cygnus. Oh yeah, that's right. Miners. So the Cygnus, his whole argument was the landminer is the Cygnus, and I'm like, it can't be the landminer because if you look at the way the Cygnus is designed, it has a very small neck where all the ore goes into the big bag at the back that inflates. You can't take that down because it'll just snap. It's all top heavy and it would just snap straight off. So that means the Cygnus is not a landminer; it's a surface-based. In space miner. Yeah, it's an asteroid miner, which is what Shubin is. So that they may bring that into the game in the future, but it's only ever going to be able to mine in space.
Yep. Yeah, my understanding was that was made originally for the Shubin Mining Center, which is basically mining an asteroid field, and it's how they mine the asteroid fields. So this gentleman's
whole argument was just that basically they could make it work in atmosphere. Yeah, they could, but highly undamn likely. They've also said that they were never going to sell it, and they've also said that if you also look at the way the landminer works, a Cygnus miner is a single controlled operator vehicle, and that being the last mining slot left is the large one. That's more likely going to be what, what's the Orion, 5 to 8, and then you've got the mold that's 4. So you're looking at what, like a 4 to 6 person mining landminer. That's not the Cygnus. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff just doesn't line up. And again, we're operating within logical rules of what CIG has said. So yeah, you can make anything up, pie in the sky dreams. And I was just like, his whole argument was CIG can do whatever they want. And I'm like, yeah, they can, but they're not going to do that because it doesn't make logical sense.
And even when we do our collective brainstorming and thinking about the questions, we sometimes still get it wrong.
Oh yeah.
But I think the fact that we do that collective process where we pull up all the ideas we can think of, and then we literally say, well, why wouldn't this one make sense? Or why wouldn't this one make sense? Or why does this make sense? And argue the points back and forth.
And run it through multiple people's heads.
And run it through multiple different people and look at, and we even look at aspects of why does this make sense in the law? And look at, so we don't just go, oh, this makes sense because of this. We try to look at how it fits into the world. Does it fit the manufacturer? Does it fit the law? Does it fit? And then we put our ideas together, and sometimes we're totally off the beam. Sometimes we've gone down a rabbit hole and we're wrong. But I think it gives us a better basis for getting things right than just doing it by ourselves. I'm pretty certain Execute would get a lot more wrong, but if we was doing it by myself, I'm certain I would get a lot more wrong if I was just doing it by myself.
That's one thing we've noticed with other creators, isn't it? Anyone that speculates on their own gets it very, very wrong, because the way the human brain works is it literally tells you, oh, I'm me and I'm correct, but you can't stand outside your own body and see that you're stuffing up. Where as soon as I run a thought that I have through Algared's head, Algared's got all his experience to pull on that I don't have, and he can see a different perspective that I can't see, and that's why we do it this way.
And we'll pull on Paul, and we'll pull on Space, and we'll pull on all the other Inforunners. So.
And that's the best way to do it, because the more like even just having one other person is doubly better. Every person you add, it goes up another run. There is obviously diminishing returns, but obviously if we're looking at, say, something like the ship today, when you bring in military people like Badgers and SA and stuff like that, they bring so much more that we just don't see because we're not that way.
We just don't even think about it.
And when you do lore stuff, I will lean towards Algared and Paul. Anything that's game development related, I bring my weight to bear on that. That's why all that professional stuff, we do that as well. So we need to move on with the questions, Algared. So
Lay Roiderdek says, sorry if this was already addressed, but it seems the Legionnaire will have a role in SAR and CSAR as well. So search and rescue, and I'm not sure what CSAR is, but certainly
cargo
capture, search and rescue.
Capture, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, not sure what that is, but
potentially
I gather that is. You could use it in that role, but the fact that it doesn't really have the rescue facilities, I don't think it really is a niche ship, as you were saying earlier, isn't it?
Yeah. So I agree with that. Machine asks, I was just questioning the forklift implementation. Tractors seems more sensible. I think it literally is some form of tractor beam thing where it just can carry a crate. It's obviously a tech we quite haven't seen on a vehicle because it's two arms. So it's probably not tractor beam. It's probably like some anti-gravity tech or something like that. But it's clearly what it's for. It's going to pick up one SCU, have one SCU in the back, and probably just shuffle them along.
And I think it'll.
And obviously it's a step. Obviously it's a step larger than a hand tractor beam because they only pick up the small crates. This is the the bigger one that's like 8 times the smaller ones. Yeah.
And I think that enables you, because of the way it picks it up and holds it, at least in that position, it keeps it level. So you're not going to have it twist because of a tractor beam when you move. So I think it's enabling you to better stack or better move cargo around or on and off your ship.
SA asks, will Invictus at Horizon cause rage quitting? Yes, it will. No, to be honest, that whole area kind of is so far out of town, it unloads everything else. And also when you go down an elevator, it clearly goes into some different area or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of all of Horizon kind of gets pushed out, and it basically pulls in this new Sky City looking thing. So I think it's kind of fun.
And my experience from Horizon during the Crux Cup was that, I didn't turn my clouds off. I wasn't getting lag. Most of the racers in Crux Cup just turned their clouds off, and they had no lag. And there were 30 odd people around Horizon at that time, and the lag was negligible. So I don't think so.
Canine Music basically asks, have we seen the new ship already? Yeah, we have. It's beautiful. Agreed. SA asks, night, gents. So he's heading off to bed. If you need a meat potato question answered, that's fine. Night, SA.
Yep.
Soren
Soren
Friston asks, can you sell components right now? And says, I think you can now put them in the back of your ships, can't you? You can put them in your cargo grid on your ship.
I'm not sure.
Not sure about selling yet, but that is also on the cards for 218, I believe. So, being able to sell stuff to vendors and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Sebastian has a question that says, I was hoping for a capital-sized ship. Is there still any hope for one this week or sometime soon? And I think we answered that one in terms of...
It does tend... And so just to clarify, we were... I was expecting... And Paul was expecting, I don't want to put Algared's foot in his mouth for him, but was a large ship. And I've had a few people say capital, but the capital only comes generally once a year, and that's at the anniversary sale. So I was expecting a large. So when they say something like a Perseus competitor, now technically a Perseus is technically a large. It was sold in that capital slot one year, but yeah, I think they're moving away from some of the big, really big capital ships, and they're getting more... you know, in that size range. And the last question
you're not putting words into my voice.
I'm not.
Words into my mouth. Execute. We had talked about that, and we were talking about it being that type of large ship, similar to a Perseus. But so will it come? I think we did answer that question in possibly a large ship, maybe in Alien Week, but it's speculation on our part at this time. And our last question.
Yep.
Is from
Ego.
It's from Ice DHB, who says, "What camera do you use to stream X?"
So I'm currently using a Canon EOS M50, but if anyone wants to make me some recommendations, I think sadly I'm just gonna have to get a new one, because I've tried everything at this point, and
your camera's just died again.
Yeah, it did. So I've tried everything. It runs quite fine, but as you can see, over 3 hours, it just deteriorates and deteriorates and deteriorates. It's obviously, and I've looked it up online, it has some form of heating problem. And every person that ends up with this problem, they have to buy a whole new camera. So I just think, sadly, you gotta remember, I've used it every year. For how long have I had it now? 2.5 years or something like that. So yeah,
it's that long. Wow.
Yeah, and it's not really meant to be used as
didn't you?
It's not meant to be used before a video camera. These are predominantly DSLRs, and I only ever exclusively use it as video. So I think by using it as video, it's worn it out faster. So yeah.
It is 2.5 years. You got it just before COVID. Wow.
Yeah. All right.
That blows my mind. All right, so we're about to finish off. Sorry for anyone who's left another question. What we might do is either try and answer those in the comment section, or we'll save them for next week. So but if you do have any suggestions for other cameras we can use, please use them. Don't forget, leave your comments below. We do read every single comment. We don't always answer every single comment, but we do actually read them. Remember, be respectful.
I am going to ask there's a question there from Jay. It just says, he's put Q instead of question. Will a CC for the Polaris be available, and what would we chain it to? So there should be one available for the Polaris. Whether it's discounted or not, we don't know. If it's not discounted, the closest two ships to that would be the Nautilus and the Hammerhead at 725, with the Polaris being 750. Unless there's price increases, and that's what I'd probably pick up, a Nautilus to Polaris or a Hammerhead to Polaris, your preference entirely. Would you add anything to that, Algared, or no? It's pretty.
No, that sounds about right. You generally want to go, get it as cheap as you can, but that would be certainly the option to go for.
Now,
get it from the closest ship to it, and then lock that price in and keep that CCU in your hangar, and then work out where you're going to go from. Work down from that to get what you want.
We will be doing Invictus every day, or every second day, because every time a new manufacturer comes out, so we'll be there every day to talk about the CCUs with you, the ships, the skins, all that type of stuff. So, and we'll give our recommendations every day as they come out. There will be a finale show as well, where I will drag my ass through the CCU chaining guide again, which I really hate doing, because there's just no easy way to present that stuff. But yeah, we'll go through it. Other than that, Algared, I would raid someone, but I don't know how the YouTube rating function works. I know
we don't know how YouTube rating works.
They got a new
but again,
one. I don't know how to do it, so yeah.
Yep. Like, subscribe, hit that bell. The algorithm demands it. We also like it if you do.
Yep.
We actually did activate the YouTube membership, so you can always join us and become a YouTube member. And that anytime we get people support us financially in that regard, it is massively appreciated, and it really does help us do things like replace cameras that are dying. Replace cameras that are dying. The lighting system both Execute and I are using at the moment. We acquired via a Kickstarter ages ago, and the backing that you guys provided us did enable us to pay for that. So
yeah, and paid for that
but it's helped us pay for green screens, for badges, and
actually it got a Google for badges, so he can turn his. He also got him lights, so he can turn them off and on with the Google, and it got him a green screen. And
it's also helped us get Dyson
green screen
lights and green screen as well.
Yeah.
So it really does help us improve the quality of our content. So we really do appreciate it when people do that. So usually that's via Patreon, but now we do have YouTube membership, and there's also the that little dollar button that you can do when you want to say, hey, we really liked what you were doing this episode. Thanks to the couple, Adelphia AZ, who's joined us for the first time. Glad you're able to join us. Sorry you joined us right at the end, because we are going.
Yeah.
But thanks for your love, and we appreciate you being here and liking what we do.
He's been Algared. I've been Execute.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
Catch you tomorrow. It's that soon.
Yeah. Well, catch you in, what is it, 12, 14 hours time?
About 14 hours time, yeah. We'll see you guys then. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.